Orleans, all the surrounding metropolitan areas. It's so good to be back with you again.
Excuse me, Rob. Why are you on the other side there gyrating? I don't know why you're over there gyrating for. It's unsettling. And you can see it if you go to the ESPN Upstate Facebook page. Dead air is not a good thing.
I don't know how to, nor do I wish to respond, I think.
You know what you hear there? You hear guilt. That's what you hear, because that's absolutely what he was doing.
I don't feel like I was gyrating. I don't feel like I was. I feel like I was just leaning into the mic for emphasis.
Well, this is, I guess.
That's a thrust.
That's a thrust.
That's
okay.
a thrust.
All right.
And also was not thrusting.
You were doing this. You were?
I have the hands down for emphasis. Stop making it weird, Lonzo. We are 4 minutes into the show, and we're already making people uncomfortable, myself included.
How many times have I been told stop making it weird?
If I had a nickel. Welcome in. The Rob Brown Show's on your radio. Great to be with you one more time again. I am Rob. He is the great one, the pinnacle of professionalism, a nickname never been so fitting to start the show. Hashtag Dad Kicks, Colonel Grudge, the Alpha and the Omega of ESPN Upstate, the conductor of the Symphony of Sound. That is the Rob Brown Show. He is Lonzo. Let's have a day, shall we? Let's have a day. Let's have some fun. A lot of stuff to get to on the program today. Obviously, we're still reacting to the fallout of week uno in college football. We mentioned towards the very end of the show yesterday that our new Associated Press poll came out. We're going to break that poll down. Who dropped, who jumped, what do you like, what don't you like? And the reason that despite tumbling outside of the top four, if Clemson wins out, y'all, they're guaranteed to be back into the top four by the end of the year. So don't panic. We're going to run through the AP poll coming up here literally in just minutes when we get to the lunch breakdown, as a matter of fact. I don't know what's going on Vince's show on ORD right now, but the texts are insane, Lonzo. I just want you to know that.
Well,
I want you to know that.
He's done for the day, so it's, yeah.
20 minutes ago, somebody texted, Vince, why are you suck a whiner? Now, that could go one of two directions. One very inappropriate, and one is just a typo.
Well, it's I wonder what accent they had when they were doing voice to text. And why their C's sound like K's.
And I'll tell you, my favorite part of the day is reading the texts that come into our sister station sometimes. I thought I get mean text.
Well, the funny part is when someone's slamming me, because then you don't know which station they're actually.
That's true.
Yeah.
Like this texter that texted in, Zoe, Rob only wishes to boldly take this show where no show has gone before. Happy Star Trek Day. Is it Star Trek Day?
Yeah, that was also mentioned on the sister station.
It is Star Trek Day 2021.
And during the question segment, he got boldly, and as soon as he went boldly, I blurted out the answer because nerd.
55 years Star Trek is celebrating today. Live long and prosper, friends. And if you can't throw it up, are you even a nerd? I had a dude, a friend who used to have to like physically do the Spock thing. Like he had to make his hands.
Well, if you do that, that's actually the orc handshake from Mork and Mindy. Because
I knew.
Yes, that's how they did handshake.
Let's see. Star Trek Day is apparently they're doing like a whole virtual con for it today with like panels from every show, including LeVar hosting a panel about the next generation. Ladies and gentlemen, the should-be star of Jeopardy. We never went into that, into your conspiracy theory about Jeopardy.
We did. I think we did.
Yeah, but then there was more news about it.
Yeah, and there's going to continue to be more news until they get what they want.
There was more news about it, and I got to tell you.
And some other people have also jumped onto this theory of mine. And I would like to say that I originated it, but, I'm the first one I heard say it, and then I've seen other sites start saying the same thing.
I got to tell you, I was kind of and initially I was kind of an initial thinking Lonzo was just on a tangent, man. Like Lonzo was he's such he loves the thought that people like to do things just because those things are not popular. And I thought with the hiring of Mike to host Jeopardy, Lonzo was going full tinfoil hat, and it turns out he's got a point. And it's crazy.
Because they went after Mayim too.
Yeah, they did. All right, we're gonna we'll that's a thing. That might be our Fanboy Friday topic in 2 days, to be honest with you. We may have to put that on the Fanboy Friday back burner.
Stew on that and prepare.
Just a thought. All right, 844-477-3776, 844-GSP. ESPN is the number. Text us at 71307 on the Ingles Market text line, 71307. If you want to have your text read on the show, you can text us in and we will read those throughout the day. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's get the show started.
Let's do lunch.
This is a very nutritious lunch. All the food groups are represented.
You guys are here.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here? Lunch!
Yeah, we fancy like Applebee's on a date night. Got that Bourbon Street steak with the Oreo shake. Got some whipped cream on the top two straws, one check. Girl, I got you.
Is this what style is this? Because I haven't heard it. So what style is it supposed to be?
That the lyrics of an Applebee's commercial, a song written by a man named Walker Hayes.
Sounds country.
It is currently the #1 country song in America. And it's also, by the way, not written for an Applebee's commercial, yet it got in there as one.
You go ahead and get you some of that. I don't like country. I detest country. So
what we're going to do during one of the breaks today is we're going to mute the stream, okay? Because we can't play the song on the stream. It'll get taken down. But what we're going to do, and you may want to join us at facebook.com/ESPN Upstate, facebook.com/ESPN Upstate. We're going to mute the stream. We're going to play that song, and we're going to get Lonzo's real-time reaction to hearing the Fancy Like Applebee's song for the very first time. This song started playing during college football weekend, last weekend. And at least if you were streaming on one of the particular apps, that Applebee's commercial played, Lonzo, every commercial break of the Clemson-Georgia game. Every commercial break it played. To the point, Lonzo, I learned the lyrics to that song in the first half of the game because they played it every commercial break nonstop. And people on Reddit yesterday were like, dude, I will cancel my ESPN subscription if they don't stop playing this commercial. It's that annoying.
Yeah, I didn't hear it because I was on the air for part of the game, and then I had the game recorded, and I just skipped past all the commercials, which I suggest you do if you don't like an Applebee's commercial. But this is not the first time that the same commercial plays over and over and over again. This must just be the most annoying.
It is. You know, the
So why do you want me to feel your pain? Why won't you spare my ears?
It's about me, Lonzo, but if I have to suffer, so does the world.
By the way, no question who the heel is on the show today. Look at someone's T-shirt.
Texter says, ESPN, if I could block a radio station, I would. I hate that song more than I hate anything else in life. Another texter says, ESPN, country music is water torture for Zoe. Yeah, come to the stream at facebook.com/ESPN Upstate. I'm going to mute the stream, but play that song for Lonzo, and we're going to watch his reaction in real time.
You do know that if I don't
have control of the board,
if I don't,
you got to suffer. You got to suffer through it like I did. Item number one on the lunch breakdown. We got two stories about Clemson. Well, one story about Clemson. What about Clemson's place in college football? Clemson announcing that Clemson safety Landon Zanders officially will miss the rest of the season after injuring his shoulder in the first quarter of the opening loss to Georgia on Saturday. Dabo Swinney made that announcement yesterday evening. Zanders played just 5 snaps against Georgia before leaving the game. Swinney said the junior will need surgery to repair the injury. He said, quote, "That's going to be a long-term injury. I hate that for him, but in the long run, it may be the best thing for him. He can use this as a redshirt year and come back better than ever." Clemson was also without its other starting safety, Nolan Turner, against Georgia. He was not listed on the injury report for Georgia, but he did not dress for the game after dealing with a back injury. Swinney said that Turner is expected back soon. Zanders had shoulder surgery last year and missed a pair of games last season. He finished with 25 tackles and a sack. Filling the void in Clemson's secondary figures to be freshman Andrew Makuba, who played extensively against the Dogs and finished the game with 8 tackles and a pass breakup. So, bad news for the Clemson defensive backs. But good news for Clemson is their spot in the AP poll after falling to Georgia. The new AP poll was released. Auburn checking in. How about the War Eagle Tigers? Checking in at number 25. North Carolina, come on and fall down to number 24 after an opening weekend loss to Virginia Tech. Number 23, Arizona State, Miami, after getting trounced by Alabama, down to 22. Utah 21, Ole Miss, number 20, after a big win in a blowout over Louisville. Virginia Tech rises up to number 19 after their opening win. Wisconsin falls to 18. Coastal Carolina stays in the middle of the pack at 17. UCLA gets the big upset win over LSU at home to move to 16. Texas to 15. And USC at 14. Number 13, Florida, after the win over FAU. Oregon up to number 12. They got a showdown with number 3, Ohio State, this weekend. Penn State to number 11. Iowa and Iowa State, 10 and 9 respectively. And they play each other this weekend. The first time that those two schools will get it on as members, both members of the top 10. Notre Dame, after a scare against FSU, a win in overtime, number 8. Cincinnati 7. Clemson falls to number 6 after a loss to the now number 2 team, Georgia. Texas A&M 5, and your top 4. Number 4, Oklahoma. Number 3, OHIO. Number 2, Georgia. And Alabama, shockingly, remains at number 1. Here's the good news, and we talked about this very briefly at the end of the day yesterday. Clemson 6 at number 6. They got to get into the top 4 to make the playoff. We know that. Here's what they have ahead of them. Texas A&M is currently at number 5. Texas A&M at number 5 and Alabama at number 1 will play each other. One of those two teams has to lose a game and drop down. The good news for Clemson is that your loss is, as of right now, the second highest quality loss you can have. The only team that would be a more quality close loss would be Bama. You're at number 2, Georgia. I will tell you that Clemson, you are Georgia fans for the rest of the year. You want Georgia to win out and stay there, okay? Makes your quality of loss look that much better. So, Texas A&M and Alabama have to play each other. One of those will drop. Clemson moves up to number 5. You've also got Georgia and Alabama. Should Georgia and Alabama both win out, one of them will have to lose in the SEC championship game. Your hope here is that the loss in the SEC championship game is a blowout, right? If Georgia loses to Bama by 17, then Clemson's likely to jump them back into the top 4. The point of this, Lonzo, this little thought experiment here, is to point out that while they dropped to number 6, there are 3 teams in the top 5 ahead of Clemson. 3 teams that all have to play each other almost round robin style before the end of the season. And if that is the case, 2 of them likely have to drop out of the top 25. So the fact is, Clemson is really, really in a good position at number 6.
I was watching Get Up this morning, and Paul Feinbaum and Dinich and Greeny and those guys were talking about this, and they all believe that it will come down to a one-loss Clemson team versus a one-loss Georgia team getting the 4th spot. And if that happens, Georgia gets it, not Clemson.
Ooh. 1. Ooh, is what I was trying to say. I forgot to turn it off to open my can.
Because of head-to-head and because of strength of schedule.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they do have both advantages over. That is factually correct.
So if you believe Georgia is going to win all their games and then lose to Alabama in the SEC championship game, and you believe that Clemson's going to win all their games and win the ACC championship, that then it's 2 one-loss teams with a shot to get in, and Georgia has the advantage.
You gotta hope, I think. You gotta hope that Alabama walks, pardon the pun, the dog on Georgia, right? You gotta hope Alabama beats Georgia by 35. You gotta hope that Alabama beats Georgia in a way that the folks who vote on this poll look and go, yeah, Georgia beat Clemson head-to-head and had a tougher schedule, but we just saw Alabama get absolutely smoked, or excuse me, Georgia get absolutely smoked by Alabama. Why are we going to match them up again instead of giving somebody else a chance?
Along those same lines, and they act like it doesn't matter, Clemson needs to take care of business and do it well every game.
Fact.
They can't be like trailing in the 4th quarter and win by a field goal to an ACC opponent.
Correct. Item number 3 on the lunch breakdown, because we're coming back to that in just a little while. Steve Stricker filling out the Ryder Cup roster. I know this should have been item number 1 because this is a left-hand turn from 2 college football stories, but hey, it is what it is. Steve Stricker is equipped with more captains' picks than any other captain in Ryder Cup history. Has added 4 more rookies to the American team for the Ryder Cup. Includes a mixture of obvious choices and maybe a surprise or 2, but the biggest surprise, maybe no Patrick Reed on this team. Stricker filled out his 12-man team with Tony Finau, Xander Schauffele, Jordan Spieth, and Harris English. They were the next 4 in the Ryder Cup standings. The other 2 picks went to Daniel Berger and Scotty Scheffler. Patrick Reed has a history of thriving in team events with his personality and short game. 7-3-2 record in the previous 3 Ryder Cups and is undefeated in singles. But Patrick Reed has not had a great summer and had to miss the final 2 qualifying events while hospitalized with pneumonia, a pneumonia that was so bad he said that at one point he quite literally feared for his life. He did return to play the Tour Championship, tied for 17th in the actual score from the 30-man field. Europe's qualifying ends after this week's BMW PGA Championship in England. Then Padraig Harrington will announce his 3 captains pick. The Ryder Cup is September 24th through 26th at Whistling Straits in Wisconsin. Europe is not only the defending champ, it has won 9 of the last 12 times, dating back to 1995. Added to the captain selections that we gave you earlier in the day, the 6 automatic qualifiers: Colin Morikawa, Dustin Johnson, Bryson DeChambeau, Justin Thomas, Brooks Koepka, and Patrick Cantlay, who has been phenomenal winning the last 2 tournaments in a row. There you go. There is your American team as they try to get back on the winning side of things at Whistling Straits. We'll circle back around to that coming up in a little while. In a moment, I have had 4 things said to me on the text line in the last 24 hours. And I'm going to address those questions, including one that just came in that said, why are you anti-Georgia? I'm not anti-Georgia. But I put them in a category that I also put the Braves and the Falcons in about Atlanta sports. I'll explain that coming up in a minute. I've also been asked, why, and Lonzo, LOL to this, why are y'all such Clemson homers? Y'all, by the way, Lonzo, putting us both in that bag.
That's funny.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you why when we come back. Rob Lonzo, it's ESPN Upstate.
would 100% go with Spectrum.
I have never bought a console specifically for one single game. But the more I see Ghost of Tsushima, the more I think I might actually buy a PlayStation just for this game.
It is time on that game.
Yeah.
Not just sometimes just walking out into a field and with there's a pad in the middle of the PlayStation controller. I don't know if it is in the next gen, but on 4, and you brush the pad and the wind blows in the direction where you need to go. So you can watch all the fly. And I'm not that hip on photo mode, but this is the kind of game where you would use it in. So yeah, I spend a lot of time on that game. It was excellent.
The Rob Brown Show rolls on. It's ESPN Upstate. The last couple of days, we've gotten a couple of texts that I wanted to address. The first text that we've gotten is, why are you guys, multiple, why are y'all Clemson homers? Be abundantly clear. We are not Clemson homers. One of us, I won't say which one, but one of us who happens to be wearing a scarlet and gray t-shirt today, take your guess as to who that is, has made his anti-Clemson stance.
All right. So for 21 years, over 21 years on the airwaves in the upstate of South Carolina, I have screamed from the rooftop my disdain for Clemson. So if you hear me praise a player or talk about, yeah, they're going to win, do I want them to win? No. And I have bias against Clemson. I don't want them to win. But I also can look and see ACC, not good. Clemson, very good. Won a couple national championships for a reason. I can't put bias ahead of reality. And Clemson has been a really good team. And it pains me every time I have to praise them. But how dare you, sir or madam, lump me into the Clemson lover category.
Mm-hmm.
I will.
So, why are y'all such Clemson homers? The reason that we talk about Clemson, if that is the direction you're taking this in, the reason we talk about Clemson is because they're like right there. They're like right there.
I don't even know if you're pointing in the right direction, but if that's the direction of Clemson, I'm glad I'm sitting the opposite.
Well, we've already seen my spatial awareness in this building.
Yeah.
It's interstate, so
Yeah,
it's that way.
yeah. I think it might
I'm ballparking
indeed.
it that way.
Yeah, well, if you go that way, eventually, probably.
Point is, it's right there. And while like 50-ish% of the people from Greenville ain't from Greenville, yours truly included, technically Lonzo as well, though he's been here a while.
Don't say technically. I'm not from here. I've lived here for 24 years, but I still lived in Ohio longer than I've lived here.
So, while 50% of the folks from here ain't from here, the largest college football fan base, the Tigers. I will also tell you that we talk a lot of good about South Carolina too. Do you know why? Because they're like right there. They're like right over there. We can almost see them too. All right.
That's pretty good. I think that's fairly accurate.
I think I'm 2 for 2 here.
I think you are.
We can see them too. Now, as I talked about, to the point of making a promo out of it at one point, our job is not always sunshine and rainbows. There are things that I said yesterday about Clemson that I consider critical. For instance, I got to tell you, in our thumbs up, thumbs down awards yesterday that we handed out for Saturday night's matchup, Tony Elliott and his play calling, big thumbs down. Big thumbs down. I thought Clemson's offense was repetitive. Dare I say predictable? And you'll notice, if you go back, about 2.5, 234-ish left to go in the first half, and you look at the sideline, they put the camera on Dabo, and all of a sudden, Dabo had the Waffle House menu up in front of his face, and I can't tell you 100% that he had taken over the play calling, but it damn sure looked like he did. Well, you've been critical. Lynn J. Dixon, Dabo, why is it that you brought in Lynn J? I understand. Listen, I respect that Lynn J. Dixon had a disciplinary issue and you kept him on the bench for the first half. I respect that. A lot of coaches, Lonzo, a lot of coaches would have made up a reason not to sit Lynn J. for disciplinary issues because of the Georgia game. If it had been Eastern Illinois, they'd have sat him. But because it was Georgia, they'd have played him and they'd have come up with, well, we're handling it in-house. We're handling it in-house. That's always the excuse. But once you got Lynn J. available, once you got to the second half, can somebody explain to me why Lynn J. ran the ball one time? Somebody explain. That's a bad coaching decision. We're going to talk about the stuff that ain't pretty. We are not Clemson apologists. We are not South Carolina apologists. We are not Panthers apologists. There are other radio stations, if you are looking for Clemson apologists, where rainbows are colored only purple and orange, there is another station for you. But that ain't us. And we'll talk about the stuff that needs to be talked about, like Tony Elliott's bad play calling, like Dabo's decision to hold out the one running back that looked like he was going to be effective in that game for reasons, which he may or may not address down the line. Who knows? If we get the chance to ask that question, we will, I promise. But as I told you yesterday on the show, let me spin my chair to the other side of the debate table here. I need you to understand, as fun as this job is and as entertaining as this job and as much fun as Lonzo and I have doing this job, Lonzo, what's the number one reason you do this job for?
Because the boss told me to.
Okay, what's the number one reason you do the things the boss tells you to do?
Because I love this job. This is the coolest job in the entire world.
So you'll do it for free?
Wait, we get paid for this?
Okay, all right. Thank you, Lonzo. Did you get my point?
I would say basically yes.
Basically. You know why I do this job? You know why I decided to do this job? Because my girl is banging. She's so low maintenance. Don't need no champagne popping entertainment. Take her to Wendy's. Can't keep her off me. She want to dip me like them fries in her Frosty. But every now and then, when I get paid, I got to spoil my baby with an upgrade because we fancy like Applebee's on a date night. Got them Bourbon Street steak with the Oreo shake. Got the whipped cream on the top too. 2 straws, 1 check. Girl, I got you. We bougie like Natty in the styrofoam. Squeaking in the truck bed all way home. Some Alabama Jamma. She's my Dixieland delight. Hey, that's how we do. We fancy like, oh, Lonzo. That's why I do this job.
I gotta say, dumping the Frosty bit.
You should have dumped it. You should have dumped the whole. Can the dump button dump 50 seconds? Can you just get over there and push it a bunch?
I don't want to say yes or no because ideas may be forming in people's heads. It's adequate.
Point is, hashtag Texter says, Rob dropping bars, son. You know how we do? What up? The point is, we do this job to make money. Okay?
So would that song be okay if it was a rap song and not a country
I
song?
don't think the song's not inappropriate. It's just bad.
No, what I'm saying is,
if Lil Uzi Vert came out and dropped these bars, I'd still be like, yo, if Jay-Z dropped these lyrics, I'd be like, Jigga, what are you doing?
that does none of
What
that.
are you
None
doing?
of that sounded right. But at least I recognize Jay-Z.
Oh, it's so bad. Point is, we do this job for the cheddar, all right? Because Lonzo and I, we like to treat our ladies to Applebee's on a date night. So that's why we do this job. And here's a
Well,
fact.
Rob, you know all women love Applebee's.
Bourbon Street steak with the Oreo shake. Okay.
Do
stop.
they even have Oreo shakes?
They brought it back because of this song. Not a joke. Not a joke. They brought it back for this song.
I hate to say it, but I was at Applebee's like Sunday, and yeah, I just because you know, quick service.
Dexter said, was that Nerd Town Road? Nice. Okay, let me finish. I'm going to finish this point. All right. No, it's not you. It's me. It's very much me. I'm incapable. I'm getting distracted talking about getting distracted. Listen.
Bro.
We do this job because it gets us money. Okay? And here's a fun little trader inside secret. When local teams are doing better, and I'm talking from the ground up, I'm talking high school football, I'm talking college sports, I'm talking pro sports, I'm talking pro like the NFL, I'm talking pro like the Triumph, I'm talking the Swamp Rabbits, the Drive. When local teams are doing well, yeah? When they're doing well, we do more stuff that makes us money. It's that simple. So if you wonder why we want Clemson and South Carolina and the Panthers and hell, the Braves, Georgia, the Triumph, the Drive, the Swamp Rabbits, the Spartanburgers, you want to know why we want them all to do well? Because when they do well, people like sports more. You ever been around an NFL franchise and fan base when their team sucks? Jacksonville? I was there. Part of the reason that I got let go from Jacksonville was because the Jags were so bad that multiple large companies pulled their sponsorship, cut the funding out from the radio station. They just didn't have the money for extra people. Not only did I get let go, but one of the guys at the station told me that he got assigned, Lonzo, not some of he got assigned my whole job, asked for a raise, and they said no.
Why, that's unheard of in radio.
Shocking.
That would never happen to anybody. I especially don't know anything about that.
Dexter says, spit it out, Junior. I'm working on it. All right. So we're not anti-Georgia.
His flow is stuttering. That's part of his deal.
It's called mumble rap, Grandpa. We're not anti-Georgia. I think we spent quite a good bit of time yesterday talking about the fact that Georgia looked really good on defense. Yeah? Clemson looked really good on defense too. But we spent some time talking about the fact that Georgia looked good on defense. We'll give you the credit. But, hey, Lonzo, how much more sponsorship are we going to get for the college football playoff if Clemson's in it versus if Georgia's in it?
I think we're going to get a considerable amount more for Clemson.
This is the radio version of breaking kayfabe, by the way, is what we're doing right here. We want Clemson to be good. I want South Carolina. You know what the dream is for me? The dream is for me that the Palmetto State rivalry is for a playoff spot one year. Seriously, that's the dream for us. The dream for us is in 1 year, the Drive win the USL, League One championship. The Swamp Rabbits win the ECHL championship. The Drive win a championship. The Gamecocks and the Tigers play each other for the final spot in the playoffs, and Carolina goes to the Super Bowl. I mean, not as a Saints fan, but like as a radio dude. The dream is all that to happen in 1 year because Lonzo and I will be very rich temporarily rich. Like one paycheck. But you get the point. So that's why. I'm not anti-Georgia.
I'll be rich in happiness.
But the fun part of the job, aside from the doing it for the money part, is that when Tony Elliott's play calling is bad, I can come on the radio and say, Tony Elliott's play calling was bad. There are other radio stations in that area that would get me fired for. There are other radio stations that if I came on and said, Tony Elliott's play calling is stale and it's bad, I would be let go on that segment, like on the air.
It might he might be on a list right now as far as next
Seriously?
year's media day goes,
Yeah.
but you know.
Yeah, and I understand I'm taking the risk. I understand, and I like the folks at Clemson. It's been great to work with them. But our job is to talk and break down football, and that's what we're doing. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show, ESPN Upstate.
Golf cart.
$2021 Upstate golf cart is for sale now. It's $99. And you're going, wait a minute, Rob, $99 to play golf. That sounds ridiculous. Oh, it's not, friend. Let me tell you why. Because for that $99, you're not playing golf. You're playing golf, and then 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 you're playing golf one more time. 9 rounds of golf. 9 of the most beautiful and prestigious golf courses in the entire upstate of South Carolina. And you're going to get them all for $99. It's less than, what is that, like $13 a round? It's way less than $1 a hole, which I promise you, you're not finding that deal anywhere else. So get yours now. Go to upstategolfcard.com, upstategolfcard.com. Grab them while they're still available, because when they gone. It's the 2021 Upstate Golf Card. How long is the next break?
Like 4.5 minutes, but actually it's longer than that because you have a live in there too.
Okay, so we're going to go super short on this segment. Then, when we go to the next break, I'm going to mute the stream. You're going to listen to this song with me. It's 2.5 minutes.
We'll see if we can, by we, I mean me, if I can continue to distract Rob to the degree where he is unable to do this before the show is out.
It's literally pulled up and queued.
All right, sports people, let's have some breaking news. Wait a minute. There's a dance.
It's a TikTok dance, and it's awful.
So how do you know there's a TikTok dance?
Because the commercial is the TikTok dance.
Okay.
The commercial is literally people doing the dance, and you'll never. I had this conversation last night. I've just started here. I'm gonna have the stream judge me. I just started DMing for a group, and we got to talking about
Who
it.
cares? I mean, people. I mean, don't be ashamed, man.
I'm not. That's why I'm doing it. So we started talking about this commercial, and somebody was talking like, oh, this guy on TikTok did it, but I'm not a real big fan. I think he's full of himself. To which I said, if you are posting videos on TikTok, you are full of yourself. That's like a thing. And that's not to be judgmental, because I'm on the radio and on stage for a living. I'm a little bit full of myself. You kind of have to be to do this. But I'll never understand the appeal for people to do dances in front of their phone screen when they're not dancers. The songs are terrible, and they're not entertaining, and share them with the world. And what clicks in your brain to make you think other people will enjoy watching this?
By the way, I dance on screen like all the time, mostly to distract Rob, but you know,
Successfully.
yes. But I don't do the TikTok. Because I'd have to turn in my tinfoil hat, and that's just not happening. If you don't get what I'm saying, my explanation would not be good for you. Big Lou.
The original Peloton bike offers more motivation.
Great job, team!
70% of members say they work out more now with Peloton than before. Get game-changing cardio at a new game-changing price. The original Peloton bike, now $400 less. Learn more at onepeloton.com.
You wanted the best, you got the best. You're listening to the Star of
Mad World.
All right, you're going to want to join the stream as we approach the next break because I'm going to play the Applebee's song for Lonzo, and he's going to get his first taste of this monstrosity. And we can't play it on the stream, but you're going to get to watch it. You're going to get to watch Lonzo's reaction, and it's I can't wait.
In case management is listening, I'd appreciate if you come into the studio.
Was some sort of emergency?
Yeah, well, no, not an emergency. You can come and yell at me. Just and take the entire segment so I don't have to listen to the thing.
Or just come in and watch it with us. Let's just get chaotic, shall we? All right. Kevin says you got to do the dance too. No, I don't. No, I don't. I'll never understand TikTok dances.
But could you do the dance if you had to?
I know the opening move, which is like this little like chicken wing thing you do. That's it. And I only know that because the commercial for this song is literally just people dancing in front of their cell phone screens to the song. And then every now and then they'll replace one of the screens. Like when he says the Bourbon Street steak, they'll put that on the screen for a second and then they'll take it down. The Oreo shake, they'll put that on the screen and take it down. But the rest of the time, it's just people who are very average dancers dancing in front of their cell phone screens. And I'll never understand the appeal of, yes, I think I'm going to dance in front of my cell phone screen because people will want to watch me, a person with little rhythm and no dancing abilities, dance to terrible music. I'll never understand TikTok.
So will this?
I know I'm grandpa now.
Yeah. Will this affect me as much as an ice cream commercial?
Yeah, 100%. You will hate this worse than that.
So you're just okay.
I'm telling you.
All right.
That's why I have to do this.
Will this hurt in a way that I'll have to retaliate before the show's over?
You know what? I accept it if you do.
Okay.
Because I may suffer more, but I know you're suffering.
Well, so
It's good enough for me.
I don't necessarily have to retaliate, but all you got to do is believe that I might, and then I win.
Texter says, what I heard out of last segment was blah, blah, Clemson, blah, blah, Tony Elliott. Man, all you guys do is talk Clemson. Hey, Lonzo, did I not dedicate 20 minutes of the last hour yesterday solely to South Carolina talk?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Did I not open the show yesterday? Second segment of the show, feel free to go to espnupstate.com and pull the podcast version because we podcast every hour, every day.
Or download the Odyssey app.
Or download the Odyssey app and pull
Get
it
it
from
right there on your phone.
Yesterday's second segment, feel free to go check. Did we not have an entire 20-minute conversation, Alonzo, about the fact that for the first time in about 2 years, we were actually happy and impressed, not just with what South Carolina did, but with the energy and excitement built around that program.
Yes. And then there was another segment where a beat writer for the Greenville News who covers South Carolina did an entire segment.
Yeah.
Corey Diaz.
But no, all we do is talk Clemson. You're wrong. Texter, you're wrong. You're wrong. See, here's what happens. You have decided that that's what we do, and you use your confirmation bias to only listen to that. If you think the last segment was about Clemson, you wasn't listening, dog. You wasn't listening, man.
Never heard of confirmation bias before.
Oh, yeah. Confirmation bias is a big deal. It's one of my favorite logical fallacies.
I get where you're going with it. I've just never heard of it
It's
before
the
that I'm
premise
aware
of
of.
you hear what you want to hear,
Right.
not what's being said. It's a big one. It's a tough one to break, too. All right. Join us on the stream, facebook.com/ESPN Upstate, because we're going to go to break. And after I do this live read for our friends at Mad World, who are awesome,
watch me pull the blister on my finger as I listen to this.
Because it's the only way to distract from the pain in the ears.
Yes.
That's coming out. Facebook.com/ESPN Upstate. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show at ESPN Upstate. Two more days and Mad World is open, ladies and gentlemen. 2 more days and it is time to get yo scare on. Mad World is consistently voted one of the best haunts in the United States. It is consistently voted the number 1 haunt in South Carolina. And this year, they have more scenes, more actors than ever before. You are going to make your way through the scariest haunted attraction in South Carolina. You're going to go through the woods. You're going to go through incredible set designs. They have special effects and top-notch actors all around Mad World. You will scream. Whether you're a kid, a teenager, or a big kid at heart, you are going to have a blast with their 2021 interactive set. 2021 will showcase their most expansive haunt experience to date, but you got to get your tickets now. Don't wait in line. Don't wait till Halloween. Go to madworldattractions.com, madworldattractions.com. Get your tickets now. Don't wait in line. It's Mad World. All right, everybody on stream, I'm glad you joined us. Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to mute the stream because we can't play the song. But I'm going to leave the camera up on Lonzo.
Oh, I just pulled it. I pulled it off. It hurts really bad. So
Good. Maybe that'll help you. So I'm going to mute the stream.
Where can I leave it for?
In fact, watch this. I'm even putting Lonzo in the big box by himself so he can listen. All right. Stream is going mute in 3, 2, 1. Now, I want you to know that because I am kind and merciful, I only made Lonzo listen to the opening chorus, the opening verse, the first chorus, and the first couple of lines of the second verse, which is my don't need no Tesla to impress her. My girl is happy rolling on a Vespa. Don't need no mansion
I didn't catch
to
the
get
Vespa
romancing.
line. Oh God,
She's super fine, double wide, slow dancing. That's the lyrics. That's a song that this guy wrote. And that is what Lonzo just experienced. Lonzo, I want you to tell me if I am overreacting to how bad this song is.
I would rather listen to that song 100 times compared to 30 seconds of the ice cream commercial.
Really?
Yes. Not nearly as bad as because the twang on the ice cream commercial is just so overdone. Oh, this song. The other, but this is pretty bad. But it makes you want to write a commercial about a restaurant just so you can get said restaurant to sponsor you and take that. God. And I like rap, but country rap's got to go, man.
Oh man. So there you go.
Why? And it's something else. Because I'm old and old school, I remember the beginnings of rap. Yo, man, why? Why go country rap? Don't do that. I get you want to branch out and take over everything, but some things should be left alone. You don't really need to be a part of that. Leave that over there. Leave that alone. Because
I don't hate country rap crossovers. It's just that they're not crossovers. I can't say that. Remind me to tell you off the air what I heard about a saying I heard about country rap, but I can't say it on the air, but it's amazing. At Plaid Falcon tweets into the show, twitter.com/the Rob Brown Show. He says, if they think you're talking too much Clemson, there's a surging Georgia team. Y'all just focus on the Bulldogs. It's a Georgia show now. I don't make the rules. Yeah, we can do that. Just all Georgia all the time, man. Go Dogs, sick 'em, I think is what they say. Is that what they say? I think that's what they say.
we might experience technical difficulties if we were to do such a thing.
Look, since we're wrapping up this hour of the show, we, on this show.
You have ruined my day, making me listen to that. Now that's going to be stuck in my head all day. I need help. Give me something. Anything other than that.
Here's the worst part. And trust me, I get it.
There's some sort of syndrome where you want other people to share in your pain. I don't know what it's called, but you got.
It's like the opposite of Stockholm syndrome. I just want you to know that song played every commercial break while I was trying to watch college football this weekend. And here's the worst part about it. Now that you've heard it, now that you know it, somebody might suggest a great earworm to get that one under your head. And all I got to do is go, we fancy like Applebee's. And that's it. You're done. It's coming right back. It's like Thanos, man. It's inevitable. And you are now suffering what every college football fan watching Clemson, Georgia on Saturday had to suffer from. Keegan says, nope, every break, first commercial, every single break. I swear to you, that is correct. That is true. It was that bad, and it didn't stop. So now, Lonzo, you have been dragged down into the mud with the rest of us. And we fancy like Applebee's on a date night. Hour number 2. We got a lot of soccer talk, both Greenville Triumph and Team USA coming up around the corner, plus another look at the AP poll, who's moving up and down, and why. All that coming up on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate.
All right, so the first song that's popped in my head, and it's in there now, is More Than a Feeling by Boston. So I'm good. I'm good. I don't know why that's the song that popped in my head, but I'm good.
Of all our hot dog related material, that's my favorite. That's my favorite.
By the way, I have just told the stream the song that popped in my head that has changed. And you can sing it. You're not going to get it out of my head because the song that's in my head is so strong, it overpowers that. And I would actually think that you would agree with me if I told you the song.
What's the song?
More Than a Feeling by Boston.
More than a feeling. That's a great candidate. It's a great candidate. As Leonidas said, we'll put them to the test. That's a quote from 300, only because 300 I was on last night.
Yeah, I was
totally
going to say,
watched it again.
yeah. And then, but you like did it as Sean Connery. So, I mean, you're like, it's like,
Leonidas was like Sean Connery light in that movie. He had the shush on the end of Leonidas. He really, think about it, just hear it in your head. He really did.
someone will deep fake it and just, yeah.
And here we go. Hour number 2 of the Rob Brown Show's right here on your radio. This is ESPN Upstate. Hello, Upstate South Carolina. I am Rob Brown, the great with Lonzo sitting directly across from me. We are rocking and rolling, and that's more than a feeling, man. It's a true statement, all right? Appreciate you hanging out with us, 844-477-3776, 844-GSP-ESPN. Text us 71307 on the Ingles Market text line, 71307. Coming up in this hour of the show, all Clemson talk, baby. The whole that's not true. That's a joke. That's not what we do here on the show. We talk a little bit of everything. Coming up at 1:20. So here in about 15 minutes plus. So like 17 minutes. I don't know why I said 15 minutes plus.
If you're going to talk about Clemson, I was thinking, I don't remember the last time Clemson won.
We're going to talk Greenville Triumph Soccer. We're going to have JJ Donnelly join us on the show. He makes his debut on the Rob Brown Show. The boys, the Triumph, got that dub this weekend. Not just a dub, a big dub, 3-0, and much needed dub. So we're going to talk to JJ Donnelly about what changed, what happened, what was the thought process, and getting ready for this weekend with a second home match in a row. We're going to talk about that coming up in just a little while. Texter says, Rob, which part of Florida are you from? I was raised in Lake City, moved to the upstate in 05. Destin, Florida. Destin, Fort Walton Beach, that area. Also was, before I came here, in Pensacola. So hello, fellow Floridian. Here's what I want to do. What the heck? Let's do this. I'm going to pull some audio here, Zoe, if you don't mind. I got a couple of different clips that I want to play. Some of the stuff that stuck out to me from Shane Beamer, head coach of your South Carolina Gamecock football program. I want to start with clip number 3, if you don't mind, Lonzo. Shane Beamer got to open his presser by saying whatever he wanted to. So he sat down in front of the mic. He cracked it open. And his first public statement after his first win in his first season as head coach of the Gamecocks, Shane Beamer opened it up like this.
What a night. First of all, it's awesome to have college football back. Packed crowds and college game day this morning with Coach Corso and live crowds and SEC Nation and fans and the bands and the cheerleaders and everything that makes this sport special. The energy in here tonight was unbelievable. So kudos to our fans. I mean, it's no surprise, but that Gamecock walk was unbelievable. And I've been a part of a lot of walks where there's a lot of people there, but I don't think I've ever been around one that was as loud as that. I mean, that was just straight screaming from the time we got off the buses to the time we walked in the locker room. And that was awesome. The cockpit down there tonight was amazing. So kudos to them and our entire stadium. We appreciate it. And it made tonight extra special. Today's been a awesome day for me personally. Just the emotion of tonight was awesome. I'm so thankful and appreciative for I haven't even looked at my phone, but just before the game, the amount of text messages I got from people, and thank you if I haven't responded. So many former players that hit me up today, so many high school coaches in South Carolina that texted me good luck, and really appreciate those guys. But what a special night. You know, a lot to build up on, a lot of good, a lot of things to correct, obviously, but so happy for our players. Just told them that in the locker room, that as special as tonight was for me and exciting and whatnot for me personally, the most rewarding part, the most fun was just seeing the smiles on their faces and the joy in that locker room right now. We were always going to celebrate wins, the fun they had out there on the field tonight. I just, I love coaching these guys. I love.
Well, that was an abrupt spot there. But you kind of heard where Shane was going.
I'll say I can pick it back up, but I'm not quite sure where it was.
That's all good. Don't worry about
Yeah.
it. We got to get where it was going, but because we got a couple more clips I wanted to get to. But look, you heard what Shane said, right? Said the energy and electricity. He said, I've been a part of many of the walks of champions, and that was the loudest, most energetic. And that's what you say as the coach, right? It's kind of like a band coming out and playing a concert. You know what the greatest audience a band has ever had is, Lonzo? The audience that you're playing in front of. That's the greatest audience you've ever had.
Of course. By the way, the problem I fixed, someone changed the setting.
Aha, of course they did. Of course they did. Yeah, the greatest audience you've ever played in front of is the audience that's in front of you right now.
Just like right now, the greatest audience that we've ever talked in front of.
It's you, listener.
That's right.
It's you. We like you. We hope you like us. Not really worried about it. We won an award. Do whatever you want. Anyway, of course Shane's going to say that, but I got to tell you, it's like Zoe and I talked about yesterday. You could feel it, right? You could feel there was something different. You could feel there was a little more spark, and that's going to come with any new head coach, right? That's going to come with any new head coach. I've made this comparison. I'm probably beating a dead horse now, but I made the comparison with Beamer to Willie Taggart when I got to Florida State. Both young guys. That was both of their dream job. Both of them had experience at the D1 level. Both of them were energetic. Both of them showed up, rallied the fan base, changed up the culture. Both of them had the swag. Both of them had the energy, the excitement. That's where the comparison stopped through week one of their tenure. Because the Noles took to the field with Willie Taggart with the swag surf. And then they got blowed out in week one. And they never recovered. Never recovered from that. Shano had a less quality opponent in Eastern Illinois than Willie Taggart did in week one with Miami. But his team came out and they were disciplined. They were smart. They executed well, et cetera, et cetera. It was phenomenal. Now, the question is going to be, can they maintain that? Can they bring that to week two against ECU? And if they can do that at week two against ECU, can they go on the road and do that against Georgia? And if they get stomped by Georgia, can they come back to Williams-Brice in 3 Saturdays and do it against Kentucky? That's what Shane Beamer's got to answer. That being said, let me go to clip number 3C, if you don't mind, Zoe. Shane talked a little bit about his experience, not just the win, but how it felt to be a head coach at a place that's in love with him in a high-pressure game. Here's what Shane said.
Yeah, it was good question. Slept well, woke up about 6 a.m., I guess. I didn't have to wake up till, I think our first thing we had this morning was at 9:30 with the team, but I was up at 6:30 and wide awake and got up and went for a run, which I usually do on game days. And it's a long day, but it was a long day of sitting around thinking about the game and preparing for what we needed to do tonight. Certainly there was a lot of time to sit around and think about how exciting game day is. And the fact that, you know, I'm staying in the same hotel last night that I was with. The last time I was in there was as an assistant coach, and then I'm back as the head coach. And that was pretty cool. And certainly my kids kept me on my toes. I got multiple text messages from my children throughout the day of making sure we were meeting and making sure that we were still working hard and that we weren't letting up on game day and things like that. So they kept me on my toes and wouldn't let me relax. But so thankful to, you know, have them here tonight, have my parents, a lot of extended family. As I'm sitting here, I got 3 kids sitting on the floor out here listening to me and watching me do this press conference. But, just really, really thankful and fortunate and grateful to be here. And it was really just just a fun night. I was going to make sure, certainly I did what I had to do as a head coach to lead the team and make decisions throughout the night, but I made sure that I was going to also enjoy the heck out of it as well. And I did.
So there you go. There's Shane talking about how much he loved being the head coach in that situation. And look, I don't know how many of y'all have gotten the chance to watch the press conference. If you want to watch his post-game presser, it is available on YouTube. You can go search Shane Beamer press conference EIU, and it'll be the first video that pops up. But Lonzo, the kid looked sincere. The kid looked genuine. The kid looked like he was enjoying it. I can't. He's 44 years old. Probably shouldn't call him kid, but you get my point.
Well, I could,
Yeah.
but no, actually, I couldn't either.
He's 44 years old. He's not a kid.
Yeah, I'm not that much
If
older.
he's a kid, you, Grandpa.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, but that was just game one. I'm not trying to be negative here, but let's see what he looks like after the losses, because we know there are going to be some losses this year. How does he handle the losses? How does he answer the questions about what went wrong with the losses? Because if he can handle the losses the way that he handles the wins, then the future is bright. Some people can't handle it when they lose. So we'll see, more than likely after Georgia, how he handles that.
Correct. It's I'll tell you, it is really easy to be positive and happy and optimistic coming off a dub. Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what level of football the team that you're playing against is still win. And your team still has to execute, still has to and he found some flaws in that, which is good, because then you have things to correct. So, but you're right. It's easy to come out and do a press conference after you win.
You know what I appreciated about this presser, and I think you just kind of hit on it. You know what I appreciated about this press conference? I appreciated the fact that Shane Beamer didn't come out and go, nailed it! Everything was perfect, y'all. I am the best. You know what he came out and he said? He said, there's a lot to clean up. There were some mental mistakes. We lined up out of position a couple of times, a couple of penalties behind the ball that we didn't need to give up. He came out and pointed out the things that but he didn't do it in a way that made it sound like he was being over and hypercritical of his team, right?
Yeah, he didn't single anybody out. He didn't do what some coaches have said.
Didn't throw anybody under the bus.
Yeah, absolutely.
He came out. Yeah, like for instance, and listen, you don't have to like it, but here's the comparison, okay? They were talking about the pick six in Dabo's postgame press conference. And a reporter asked Dabo what happened. How'd that pick six go wrong? And look, this may or may not be the truth, right? There's a part of me that, because I've gone back and I've watched that play probably 100 times, that pick six that DJ threw. And what I got out of it, it was a play very similar to, pardon me for being a homer, but it's the best play I can come up with that most of you will know. It was a play that was very similar. Actually, it was the exact same play. You remember the Saints Super Bowl when Tracy Porter took that INT to the house off of Peyton Manning? Marvin Harrison was running. So Marvin Harrison was running an option route. And so was the receiver in that play, which is 10 yards, and then he's got the pick. He can cross in a slant, he can run a fly, or he can run it out. And DJ is going to watch his break, read the DB. They're going to hopefully be on the same page, blah, blah, blah. Well, the wide receiver decided to run the inside slant, same as Marvin Harrison did, and the DB jumped the route. But DJ to me, and having watched that play back a couple of times, DJ to me, in fact, I'll pull this up on the stream at facebook.com/ESPN Upstate, and we'll actually break this down on the stream during the break here in just a minute. But DJ got rid of that ball too quick, and I went to watch the press conference about it, and they asked Dabo about it. You know what Dabo said? Well, that's the wide receiver's fault. It was an option route. He was supposed to cross the face of the DB. He did not do it. it was the wide receiver's fault. Somebody came in later and said, hey, coach, I was late joining the party. I wanted to know about that pick six. Can you explain what happened? And Dabo said it again. Yeah, that's the wide receiver's fault. Wide receiver was running an option route. He was supposed to cross the face of the DB. He did not. Well, I got to tell you, Lonzo, if you want to have a little fun, your wide receiver's up here in the slide. Tell me exactly where the option to cross the DB's face is. The DB is 6 yards out. That's just a bad read by DJ, all right? I'm sorry to tell you, but that's just a bad read by DJ. The DB is 6-7 yards out of the wide receiver. DJ throws it out of the break. He throws it 2 yards in front of the wide receiver, and the DB jumps the route.
He
That's
also he kept his eyes on the receiver the entire time, and the DB, you can see him watching the quarterback's eyes and knowing exactly where it was going to go.
Yeah, go to facebook.com/ESPN Upstate. I'll break this play down with you during the break. But yeah, that's exactly what it is. So the point is this, and I'm not bringing this up to talk Clemson. I'm bringing this up because if you watch that game, I'm sorry, that's DJ's fault. It's a bad read. And that's okay. The kid's getting his first big-time start. He's going to make a mistake or two. But Dabo immediately, it's the wide receiver's fault. I had to tell you, if I'm that wide receiver, I'm like, damn, all right, okay. Shane didn't do that. Shane knows who made the mistakes. Shane realizes who made the mistakes, and Shane came out and said, look, we got to clean this up. We're lined up out of position, but it didn't go the right slot receiver was lined up out of position. And we're going to have a talk with him. Right? He just said, lined up out of position, we got to clean it up. Had a couple of blocks behind the ball. We got to clean it up. And I got to tell you, it sounded great. Lonzo, he sounded to me like a professional. He sounded to me like a coach. He sounded to me like a guy who was excited about what he was doing. It doesn't mean a damn thing if you don't win football games, but it's a good start for week one.
I've never thought about doing this before, but I think we should archive this first press conference and then pull audio from the final press conference of the season and see if there's a difference.
I like that. All right, let us do this. 844 GSP ESPN 477-3776. Text us at 71307 on the Ingles Market text line. Start your text, the actual text, the body of the text, with ESPN and then your message so that we can read it on the air. When we come back, JJ Donnelly of the Greenville Triumph is going to join us here on the Rob Brown Show to talk about that big win they had over the weekend. That's next, right here on ESPN Upstate. Harley-Davidson of Greenville doesn't want to just put you on the back of a Harley-Davidson. That's easy. All right. You're going to go to you're going to hear a bunch of dealers that they want to get you on the back of a motorcycle. They want to send you on down the road. They want to be done. They got your money. They done. That's not Harley-Davidson of Greenville. It's one of the reasons that as soon as I got the opportunity to work with HDOG, I was like, yup, let's go. Why? Because not only do they have the newest 2021 models with the new paint schemes and the new finishes and all the bells and whistles so that you can build the 2021 bike of your dreams, not only do they have the largest pre-owned inventory in the upstate, so maybe you're trying to fit within a certain fiscal responsibility. That's cool, man. They got the bike for you in their largest pre-owned inventory in the upstate. But on top of that, if you purchase a Harley, they do all the work there for you. They customize the bike for you. When you need service, whether it's new tires, new brakes, and oil change, they can do it right there for you. They got all the gear so that as you continue to evolve the way that you ride, you can go right back to Harley-Davidson of Greenville, and they want to keep working with you because you are now part of not just the Harley-Davidson lifestyle, but the H-Dog family. That's what they're there for. Go online, see their entire inventory at upstateharley.com, upstateharley.com, or visit their beautiful showroom at 30 Chrome Drive and tell me you've seen a more professional run inventory dealership in your life. You haven't, I promise. They got everything for you. 30 Chrome Drive, or check them out online at upstateharley.com, upstateharley.com. It's Harley-Davidson of Greenville. I got to grab something off the printer, and then I'm going to come back and we're going to watch that play stream, so don't go anywhere.
The NASCAR Cup Series will run back-to-back Saturday races. This Saturday at Richmond, and then the next Saturday at Bristol. And after that, the current playoff field of 16 drivers will be cut down to 12 drivers. The 12 drivers who are above the cut line right now did Andy Hamlin, Kyle Larson, Martin Truex Jr., Kurt Busch, Ryan Blaney, Joey Logano, Kevin Harvick, Brad Keselowski, Christopher Bell, Chase Elliott, Eric Almirola, and Tyler Reddick. And then the 4 drivers who are still alive for a Cup championship but looking to do work in these next 2 races to move above the cut line: Alex Bowman, Kyle Busch, William Byron, and Michael McDowell. Download the Score app today, lightning fast sports alerts, so you never miss a thing. It's why the Score app is one of North America's most popular sports apps. With your ESPN Upstate Sports Center update, I'm Matt Pauley.
Hi, this is Cole Bryson. This Friday night, Burns Rebels are at Westside. It's Burns at Westside Friday on ESPN Upstate on Odyssey app. The Burns Rebels, powered by your local Ingles Market. 97.7 FM in Greenville, 97.1 FM Spartanburg.
Don't go through the fall months with that joint pain. Call QC Kinetics now. Regenerative solutions are here, bringing lasting relief from joint pain with no downtime, no surgery, no steroids.
Rashad, when he gets back in the room, man, he's going to be so. Are you still singing that song?
Got the bourbon fried steak with Oreo shake and the milk cream, whipped cream. I don't even know how to do it. I
Yes.
hate it.
More than a
It's like it's a small world.
when
dude.
I
Like,
hear
once it's in
that
your head,
old
it's in your head.
song play. More than
All right.
a feeling.
Let's take a look at this little play.
Look at
here,
the
shall we?
last thing on the stream.
Oh, Rashad. I gotta call you.
I
After the
told
game,
you.
dog.
I told you.
I gotta call you, Rashad. I gotta call you after the game, fella, or after the show.
You can call it a game if you want. Don't we have a guest?
He's supposed to be calling us,
Okay.
but Doug said he's a little bit behind. So,
Okay.
all right. So this is the pick 6 against Clemson. So we're looking in the receiver that's in the slot at the top, with his left foot just inside the 29-yard line. And we're looking at the DB that is directly across. So the 2 guys on the hashtags, those are the 2 guys we're looking at, and obviously DJ back there in the pocket. So Dabo said this was the receiver's fault because he was supposed to be running an option route and crossing the face of the DB. Dabo said the results of this play are supposed to be either a completion or an incompletion. The interception shouldn't even be possible because the wide receiver should shield off the DB. But I want you to tell me if you think Dabo was protecting DJ here, because I kind of think he was. So DJ takes out, and there's the break. Watch where the DB actually breaks his route off, right? He breaks his route off at the 31-yard line. He's already looking to the inside. Now, DJ's head here is turned to the right. I initially thought maybe DJ was looking down the field, right? So he turns his head to the right. But here's the thing. There's only 2 receivers on the right side of the field. One of them is on the hash mark. The other one is up there at the 34, and he's running a fly, but he's totally covered up. So maybe DJ's looking at him, but realistically, I think DJ's looking the inside. Exact same play that the Colts ran against the Saints that Tracy Porter picked off. So the DB at this point, who is now just on top of the D and Duke's mayonnaise, right? He has got, look where his eyes are. He's on the quarterback, and in his peripheral, he sees that the wide receiver has turned his head to the inside. So he goes ahead and starts creeping up. Now, the wide receiver has broken the route off here just inside of the first down marker, which if the DB was playing on top of the hash marks, that would be the right move, right? Get to the sticks, turn it up the field, etc. But he didn't make that decision based on where the DB is. He decided here that he's turning to the inside, and the DB's already there. So he just jumps the route. The wide receiver curls it off at the top of the K. And theoretically, yeah, he should be able to shield off the DB, but the DB is already to his inside, which means he's got to break it even further down, which means this throw has to be a second later. But DJ lets her rip,
15
and
seconds.
the DB jumps the route, and there you have it. It's all chicken with the gravy at that point. I don't think it's fair to blame the wide receiver on that. I think he got his route jumped because he snapped it off early.
Intercepted.
JJ should be calling in, so just a heads up.
According to the South Carolina broadcast.
All right, there we go. That's the breakdown. If you missed it on the stream, did the full breakdown of that pick 6 from DJ Uiagalelei in that Georgia game this weekend that Christopher Smith took 74 back to the house for the only TDO the weekend. We'll talk more about that later on in the show, but that's why you got to join us on the stream, man. We do cool stuff on the stream. We do fun stuff on the stream, including talk about a subject quite frequently that we're going to talk about on the air now. We welcome to the show from your reigning, defending, undisputed USL League One champions and coming off the fat dub this weekend over Toronto from your Greenville Triumph, Mr. JJ Donnelly makes his debut here on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate. JJ, welcome in, big dog. Glad to have you, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Of course. And man, look, we got to start with the obvious. Look, it's been tough sledding for the boys. No wins since the 4th of July. There was a growing sense of frustration. I think we on the outside could feel it. We heard, we've had Harks on, we've had Chris Lewis on, and you could tell there was a little frustration, but nose to the grindstone. You guys go out last weekend and get an enormous win. What kind of relief was it for your side to take that win and get back on the right side of a 3-point?
It definitely was a big weight off the shoulders for sure, getting a win again. But, we knew we had the ability and the game plan to do it. But yeah, it's just putting it to action. But finally this week it paid off.
What, when you get into a stretch like that where there is a bit of a struggle, when you get into a stretch like that where maybe you're not getting the results that you want, there are some teams that drastically change what they're going to do. And then there are some sides that say, we got to get back to what we do. We got to go back to playing our form of football. What approach did the team, what approach did John Harks take? And what was the mentality as you guys worked towards getting back to a full result?
It was just kind of going back to what we did last year, coming out fast and defending well. And, we kind of lost that a little bit during the middle part of the season. But on this weekend, we decided to, give it everything to Toronto. And we come out fast, like I said, 2 goals in 10 minutes. So it was nice to get an early lead and, defend it like we've been known to do. So nothing really changed, just trying to go back to our old ways.
JJ Donnelly from the Greenville Triumph joining us here on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate. Talk to me about the lead up to that match. I mean, I know you said not much change, and I think for a side that's coming off of a championship last year, you want to be able to dictate the pace of a game, to dictate the style of the game. But you also know you are going to get everybody's best shot, right? The man on top of the mountain is the one that everybody is looking up to try to knock off. When you guys were catching the best games of the Tormentas and the New Englands of the world, and you knew Toronto was going to throw their best at you, when you're getting set to go out there and get onto the pitch, and you've got, the Riot's still out there, La Familia's still out there, the supporters section is there, they're being as raucous as they can, and you're walking onto the pitch, what goes through your head as an individual, as a player, to give the best effort that you have to try to get your team inspired to go get a result?
You're confident going into a game. The little run that we went through, there's a lot of pressure, and you see that on the pitch sometimes with some of our performances. But for some reason, they're definitely to do with the coaching staff and the belief that we had the week coming up to that game. Everyone felt really confident and was strong with the game plan, and we knew what we needed to do to get the win, and it showed on the pitch. But I'm sure people, I'll be honest, I was pretty nervous, but I was also confident in the team to get the job done.
Sure. And look, you guys, I mean, an absolute blistering pace to start this game. You struck your first goal in the 4th minute, a nice little volley after Allen put in a really solid service into the box. The ability to come out, get that first goal, recognizing that there have been a few matches where you guys have scored first, but then surrendered, equalizers and in some cases go-ahead goals. To get that first one out of the way, and did it feel like you guys were dictating the pace of this game maybe more so than you have in the past few weeks?
100%. Being at home, there's always a bit, like you said, a bit of pressure to come out. And we knew Toronto were maybe thinking we was a wounded animal as such. So we thought, let's just give everything to them, surprise them, and show them what what Greenville was all about, and we certainly did do that with two quick goals from myself and Aaron Walker, the captain, and the things we've been working on in training that week perfectly went to plan. So couldn't be happier.
I wanted to ask you about something that happened late in the game. A big lead for you guys, 3-0 at this point. And there was a scuffle. It was down on the end away from the supporter section. We had a player go down. A Toronto player approached them and started yelling while they were down after a hard challenge. Dallas J comes over, shoves the Toronto player and receives a red card. Greenville was out of subs, so Max Hemmings had to throw on the red jersey and play emergency keeper. Ended up preserving the shutout, by the way, which a heck of a job there to play down a man and with a backup emergency keeper and keep the shutout going. But what was kind of the emotion of the triumph after that went down, after Dallas was shown red? And even though you had a lead, knowing late in the match that they're Toronto was emotional at that point too. How did you guys approach that moment?
We was very upset with the rest of the decision. First of all, Dallas was just looking after Brandon Fricky, who was down, looking after our players. The ref thought he'd seen Dallas throw a punch, but this is not right at all. He was just protecting our player, so everyone was very emotional. But the boys did well to deal with the situation. It's what Toronto wanted. They could see that the game had been done. They were just trying to rattle us, but the boys were able to hold on to the lead and keep their head and see it to the final whistle.
We want to look ahead just a little bit. JJ Donnelly, midfielder for the Greenville Triumph, joining us here on the Rob Brown Show. Is the Triumph coming off of a 3-0 win over Toronto, their first win since the 4th of July. And one of the things that we have heard Coach Harks mention, one of the things we've heard Chris Lewis mention, Doug Irwin, all the front office staff have said that what they're looking for now, and I'm assuming the players are going to work the same way, but I want you to tell me, JJ, is consistency, right? You've got a good result, a 3-0 win, not just a good result, but a dominating result where you guys were in control from the onset to the final whistle. But now it's about momentum, right? Now it's about taking that 3-0 win, and Chattanooga's coming to the house, a Saturday nighter. That Legacy Early is going to have the supporters back in full throat. How important is it, and what's the approach for the players on the pitch to take the momentum from last week and continue it this week against Chattanooga?
Yeah, we just need to, have a good week of training as well and stay humble. Realize that there's still a lot of the season to go. From 3rd to 8th, there's still 1 point between that many teams. So a loss or a win can really separate us from being in the playoffs and not being in the playoffs, especially with Chattanooga. We've had good battles with them throughout the year, so that we know they're coming here to beat us, but we have a lot of confidence that we can get the job done. And like we said, we played at their ground twice and held them to a draw, so we have confidence in them coming here that we can give it to them and give them a tough game for sure.
JJ Donnelly of the Greenville Triumph joining us here on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate. Have you felt, we talked about it a little earlier, is there any additional pressure on you, on the rest of your teammates, knowing that you guys are the reigning defending undisputed USL League One champs, knowing that you are getting the best shots, knowing that you do carry that star above the crest this year? Do you feel that there's any additional pressure on you guys to perform, or is this just another season you're going out to do what you do?
It's normal for sure to feel a little bit of pressure, being a champion or not. It's just, every team's coming here to play their best game against us. Even if we were champions or not, we knew we was the best team in the league last year. So that was expected. But like Gaffer says, we're not here to defend the league. We're here to go win another one. So with that mentality, it will keep us, on the front foot and keep pushing and not get complacent at all. Even with the little struggle we've had, we feel like we're in a good place right now. So just to push on to the end of the season, to the end of the playoffs, and win it again.
I love it. I've heard, I was kind of blown away preseason when we started having you guys on for discussions, because one of the first, I had John Harks on to start the year, and he said the same thing. He said, look, we are not coming to defend the trophy. We're coming to win another one. And then we had Joe Irwin on, the owner. He came on. He said the exact same thing. And I talked to one of the other front office members, and I said, look, I've heard multiple people say that we're not coming to defend this trophy. We're trying to win another one. Is this like the mantra of the team? And he said, we haven't like said that, right? That's not like a phrase going around the locker room. That's just the mentality that this team has built. Has that kind of become the overall mentality of this club?
For sure. Like you said, you don't want to get complacent at all. No matter if you're doing good or bad, that you can always improve. So, even though we won the league last year, there's definitely areas where we can improve, and that's something we've been looking to do this season. And we've had our ups and downs, but we feel like we're in a good place right now. And that little saying there, like you said, surely keeps you grounded and realizes that like we still have a lot to go. No one's going to give us anything in this league, so every game's hard, so we have to give 100% all the time.
JJ Donnelly, midfielder for your Greenville Triumph. All right, JJ, we've got to ask. We do this specifically when a player is making his debut on the Rob Brown Show. You obviously hail from London, England, spending time here in the upstate. What's been your favorite part about living in the upstate of South Carolina? What are the things you primarily enjoy about being in this area?
I love going downtown, going around trying all the different restaurants. I'm a big fan of the Jamaican Riri spot. Me and the boys trying, order food in there from there quite a lot. But I'm a big foodie, so all the different types of restaurants down here, I love it. Love it.
Love it. Now, let me ask you the last question, and it's going to be a confusing one. The people that listen to the show already know what's coming. JJ Donnelly, a foodie, which makes this answer more important. You walk into a restaurant in South Carolina and you order a hot dog. What do you expect to come on it, JJ?
I expect some ketchup. Definitely some ketchup, some grilled onions. And that's about it for me. That's what I want.
Okay, ketchup and grilled onions, but not chili, correct? You don't expect chili to come on it.
No chili, no mustard, no chili, none of that. Just ketchup and onions for me.
There you go. I'm trying to tell you, Upstate. I'm trying to help you. JJ Donnelly is a midfielder for your Greenville Triumph, coming off of a huge 3-0 win over Toronto this past weekend. They line it up again this Saturday, 9/11, September 11th. It is going to be a phenomenal matchup, important matchup against Chattanooga. Another 3 points would be tremendously helpful. As JJ pointed out, solid analysis just a minute ago. There's like a total of 4 points difference between all the playoff spots right now, I think with the exception of one team. So 3 points, a big help. JJ, my man, appreciate it. Congratulations on a huge win last weekend. Go pick up another 3 this Saturday, my man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you having me on, brother.
Of course. Absolutely my pleasure. That is JJ Donnelly. He sports number 17 for your Greenville Triumph and does not believe that chili comes on a hot dog. You're welcome. Quick break. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate.
For a limited time, it's the Labor Day blowout sale for the Upstate Golf Cart. Right now, get your Upstate Golf Cart for just
be curious to know your opinion of the bachelorette party from NXT last night.
I haven't watched NXT from last night yet.
I know.
However, I will be watching it. No, not tonight. I have trivia tonight. Tomorrow, however, got NFL tomorrow. When am I going to watch Shang-Chi, Lonzo?
I don't know. You're missing out.
I know. Everybody I've talked to said it's incredible. Probably Friday night, honestly. But we have hit the Marvel movie. We have hit the line in the Marvel movie where I think Courtney has kind of gotten to like less enthusiastic about watching. So Shang-Chi is going to be solo, but I have to see it in the theater because of how good I've been told it is. So I got to feel where the spot is that I can.
Well, good luck, because
sneak
with
out.
football season and everything going on, unless you record a football game and you go watch the movie and then you come back and watch a recorded football game. Friday night's your best bet.
Correct. Ringside News started a conversation about who is better, not as a wrestler, as a wrestler for their company. Roman Reigns or Kenny Omega. Their argument is that Roman Reigns came back from cancer, reinvented his entire character, and has carried the company on his back. And I don't think that's wrong, because Reigns' storyline is one of two that keep me watching WWE as a side project.
I think it's who's more, the Usos or the Young Bucks?
The Usos. That storyline does not work as well without the Usos. The Young Bucks could disappear and Omega's storyline could keep going. Oh, it's true. It's damn true. The Rob Brown Show back on the radio. Rob Alonso, thanks to JJ Donnelly. Thank you very much to Doug Irwin. Doug has been our guy inside the Triumph, helping us get these interviews set up every week so we can keep talking Triumph footy with you guys. We appreciate Doug and Chris and Joe and everybody over there at the Triumph who, again, I know I've told this story before, so I won't spend too long on it. But look, when I moved here, the Triumph, as a matter of fact, when I came up here for my audition, there was a Triumph sticker on the fridge in the Airbnb that I stayed in. And I was like, what's that? Oh, we have professional soccer here. Now I got to get this job, right? And then as soon as I got here, one of the very first phone calls that I got was from the Triumph going, hey, we want to get involved. We want to work with you guys. We want to get some crossover. What do we need to do? And it's been smooth sailing ever since. So I appreciate them. And as I've told you guys, we are all very, very, very lucky, very fortunate that we have the people running the teams that we have here in this area, because I can tell you the folks from the Swamp Rabbits, the Drive, the Triumph, all they care. They want to be involved in the community. They want to be involved in what's going on in the upstate. And part of that is working with us to make sure that we are, we're giving out and they're giving to the community, and we're helping each other to make sure that you guys are a part of that and they are a part of you guys. So thanks to everybody involved. Texter says, ESPN, it is what it is. I immediately trust anyone with a British accent if we are talking football. Yeah, JJ was great. JJ was great. Another texter regarding the hot dog question says, ESPN, I feel personally attacked. Your identity is chili on a hot dog? That's your identity, texter? Question mark?
What you should have, you should have followed up, because I would have been curious, and I didn't think about this till now. If you were to order a hot dog in Great Britain, what would come on it?
Hot dogs in Great Britain.
Because my
now
first
thing that's in my Google history.
my first thought is, are there hot dogs in Great Britain?
Uh,
Yeah, you need to be careful. We don't have to talk to engineering, do we?
I just realized that this is a very questionable Google result to have in my search history on this computer.
Yeah, it's too late now. You should give that some thought before you actually start typing. But
First headline that comes up from Bloomberg is the hot dog is slowly conquering Britain. That's literally the headline of a news article from Bloomberg. The hot dog is slowly conquering Britain. I love it.
What year was this written?
2017.
Okay.
Not all that long ago.
So it
Rob! All caps. All caps. You know he's serious because a text that starts with all caps.
Yeah,
Serious.
I completely disagree because I don't text cannot denote DBs. All looks the same.
All caps is
Yeah.
we have accepted as a culture that all caps is yelling.
You are generalizing right there.
You made a
That's a general.
Texter says, all right, Rob, so far we have heard from a 1%er, an Ohioan, a Georgian native, and someone from across the pond about what a hot dog is supposed to have on it. When you do the Panther tailgate and are around us common folk, I bet you a hot dog, most people asked will say hot dog is mustard, chili, and onion. Right. I understand that is what the upstate, maybe even all of South Carolina, calls a hot dog.
What
You're
was
missing-
that phrase you used in hour one? And I've already forgotten what it was about hearing only what you want to hear.
Confirmation bias.
That's proof.
Listen, you're not hearing what I'm trying to tell you.
You're also not hearing what he's been saying.
Correct. I am not telling you that y'all, and listen, Lonzo, I have been adamant about and have worked very hard to make myself a member of the upstate community. I really have. I have really done what I think is the best I can do to ingratiate myself into this community, to be a part of this community. I want to do that.
You are without a doubt the face of ESPN Upstate in the community.
So that's what I want to be. Okay. That's my goal. But there are some things that I'm just going to go, I'm not going to click. A hot dog does not come with chili. That's a chili dog. And the point I'm making when I ask JJ Donnelly and James Skalski from Clemson and all these other people, because we've asked how many, I think the only person we've had on we did not ask was DJ Uiagalelei. And the only reason was because we only had like 6 minutes with DJ. And I didn't want to take up 2 of them about chili on a hot dog. James Skalski, we had like 17 minutes. So I'm like, I got time for a hot dog take. I didn't with DJ. I think he's the only athlete we have had on. We've asked most of the Triumph players, most of the Swamp Rabbit players. We've asked the coaches of both of those teams.
All right. So something we've never asked a wrestler that. So next time we have a wrestler, and I don't believe we've asked a wrestler that.
True. But like, yeah, you're right. We could ask, you know what we should ask? We should ask Matt Hardy.
We should have.
We should have asked Carolina kid. Now, North Carolina, but Carolina kid. But the point is this. I am not saying you're wrong about this, okay? I'm not saying you're wrong about it. That is how you do it here, and that's fine. The point that I'm making is when I have gone out with people from the upstate and I ask for a chili dog, they're like, well, that's just a chili and bread. No, that's only a chili and bread here. When I ask for a hot dog and they're like, that's chili mustard. No, that's a chili dog literally in the rest of the world. Now, if you go to Georgia and you want a hot dog the way that y'all say it's a hot dog with chili, mustard, and onions, you ask for a Carolina dog. It's a Carolina dog everywhere else, to the point.
No. It's not in Ohio. In Ohio, it's a chili dog.
Yeah, but y'all eat Skyline chili and that stuff's gross.
General. I can't say the word, but you're painting with a brush. No. Sir, it's not true. That's Cincinnati people.
Texter says, just because you're correct doesn't mean you're right. Upstate folks are wild. Texter says, they need to realize that it is called a Carolina dog, but if you only ask for a hot dog, it should come with nothing on it by default. That's my point.
That's the exact point.
Now, I want it on the record. I'm not trying to change that, right? Like, I'm not advocating that restaurants around the upstate stop putting chili, mustard, and onions on a hot dog when a hot dog's ordered. Y'all have made that your way of life, and that's fine. I'm just saying It is what it is. Texture says, ESPN Rob, a hot dog is a hot dog with what you want on it. A hot dog all the way is chili, mustard, and onion. See, I've been told that that's the default hot dog here.
Well, a hot dog all the way would have more than that on it. All the way.
Sauerkraut
Yeah.
and ketchup
yeah.
and
a lot of
relish
stuff.
and pickles. You know. Anyway, how we go down this road again? What? How did... Back after this on ESPN Upstate. We've been off the stream that whole time.
Yeah. that's-
Sorry, everybody.
Well, which is good because the
Also
conversation. Yeah, that's the only reason why I was talking to you
Fair
about
enough.
that because don't want to give stuff away. Not talking about anyway. It is next week. It's a preseason meeting next week. Doesn't necessarily mean bowling next week.
Yeah, like we're going to go there and not bowl. Wrapping up the second hour of the show. Thanks again to JJ Donnelly, Doug Irwin, and the Greenville Triumph for coming on board with us earlier in the show. And we have reached our limit of hot dog talk, so stop texting me about hot dogs, all right? Stop texting me about hot dogs. We have reached the capacity of hot dog takes.
Rob, give the fans what they want, man.
I did. I have had a full 4 minutes of hot dog conversation, and this is rare for me, but I'm over it. All right? It's a fun gag. It's a great shtick. But there's too much in sports to talk about hot dogs more.
Rob, what would Kobayashi do?
Eat a bunch of hot dogs with no chili on them.
What would Joey Chestnut do?
The same thing.
They wouldn't give up so easily. They would continue to talk about that wonderful food that's known as hot dogs.
Coming up in the next hour of the show. If we don't get fired during this break.
What's this Wii stuff?
I got more stuff to get into. Oh, I know what I have for you. Lonzo, I have two different stories that I think are wild. Number one, I have a story of a pitcher that got hit by lightning and then finished the baseball game. And I have a bona fide NBA conspiracy theory that I believe. That's next on the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate. This is a whale of a goal. Dude. A whale of a goal.
Did he bend it?
No. He lasered it. Beautiful.
Download the Score app today. Lightning fast sports alerts so you never miss a thing. It's why the Score app is one of North America's most popular sports apps. With your ESPN Upstate Sports Center update, I'm Matt Pauley.
Have you heard the Rob Brown Show? Dr. Britt Baker, END, joining us here. Bonzo and I talk wrestling on the show on a weekly basis. The show that follows us are a couple of guys that think they are too cool. They call themselves the show for men and us the show for boys because we talk wrestling. Mark Ryan is my colleague and the host of that show that thinks that wrestling is not cool, that folks like you just won't get a real job. Would you mind sending a message to Mark Ryan about his view on this business?
Mark Ryan, let me tell you, if you don't think this is a real job, you're a freaking idiot. It's a 24-hour job. You have to look the part, you have to be the part, you have to wrestle the part. Not only that, I do have a real freaking job. On top of that, I'm a wrestler and a dentist, so I'm actually what is your full-time job is. But I have two.
The texter says, ESPN, Rob, you kept your job by breaking down hot dogs and Duke Mayo through the lockdown, so you can't turn your back on us now.
Dance with the one who brung you, Rob. Back on it, man. I had to kill that promo because I got to find that thing and
Texter says, ESPN, Rob, you kept your job by breaking down hot dogs and Duke's mayo during the lockdown, so you can't turn your back on us now. I'm going to say, Lonzo, I got a lot of mileage out of Duke's mayo and hot dogs during the quarantine. That is correct. Texter says, ESPN, do you think that Joey Chestnut could eat as many hot dogs in 15 minutes as Jake Paul? If Jake Paul dedicates himself 100%, then he should be able to win based on raw talent. Within 3 months of training, Jake Paul beats Chestnut by 5 hot dogs. I got to tell you, you know what I appreciate about that text? That text was one Vince McMahon is good at his job away from hitting everything that aggravates the crap out of me in sports right now. That's a truly good texter. You are one Vince McMahon is the best owner in the world away from hitting the trifecta of things that aggravate.
I was rooting.
He was close.
I was rooting for it.
Texter, ESPN, I just want to say that your radio show in the upstate is different. And I really appreciate everything that you two. Hot dog stink attack. I guess they consider Sloppy Joe's hot dogs because it's just bread and chili. He slipped a hot dog take into a text that began by stroking my ego, which is the best way to catch me off guard.
Well, he said it was plural. He was talking about you and I, not just you, but that's.
Yeah, I know,
fine.
but it's
That's
like it's our show, but it still strokes my ego. It should stroke yours too.
Well, no, I don't need that.
I do.
I
know. I also, Texter, would like to point out that according to my conversations with people from the upstate, that if you put just chili into a hot dog bun, they call that a chili dog.
Which is
not
beyond. I don't know. There are no words to describe how that makes me feel other than it's dumb. It just is. And I'm not apologizing. That's just dumb. That is a sloppy Joe. Although if you put chili in a hot dog bun, is it still a sloppy Joe? Because does a sloppy Joe have to be on a hamburger bun, or can it be on sliced bread? I don't know.
I don't know. Solid question. I just know that both of them, not hot dogs. So
if it's on a hot dog bun, it's a sloppy Joe pita.
Sports, ladies and gentlemen, sports. Let me go with two things that I have been carrying around for a while, and it seems like as good a time as any to hit one of them.
Relieve your burden, man. We're here for you.
And I just, honestly, you know what this is? I got to clean up my prep sheet, but I also don't want to not talk about this, so I'm just going to get it out of the way. August 24th, we got to go all the way back to 1919 for this story, but I need you to stick with me because it's worth it, all right? It's worth it. 1919, Ray Caldwell is a pitcher for Cleveland back in 1919, and he throws on a uniform for the very first time, just in front of 20,000 fans.
Wait. 1919, not 2019.
1919.
1919.
Yeah, we're going 100 years ago.
Want to make sure.
But dig the story, okay? The 6'2", 190 pounder had been regarded as one of the future stars of the game, perhaps going down as one of the greatest pitchers ever. But unfortunately, he had some problems with the bottle, with the sauce. But he wanted, he got a second chance. Cleveland player manager Tris Speaker decided to give him a second chance, and he came up with kind of an interesting take on how to handle this. Basically, what he did was he came up with a plan where this guy would play baseball for 3 days, Lonzo, and then he'd have a day off to go drinking. Seriously. He would play baseball for a few days.
That sounds a lot like some people's radio career.
He would play baseball for a few days. Then he'd go drinking. And that was the spot, man.
What do you have? So he wouldn't have a day off in between. So he'd have to, after his entire day of drinking, he'd have to play the next day.
Let me see. I actually had the actual rotation down for what it was. So after the wheels fell off early in his career, he ended up signing with Cleveland, and they basically came up with this campaign where they would allow him to. He's 31 at this time, by the way. Okay, so he's not a spring chicken. He's getting his second chance here. Anyway, so he goes out to pitch, and the rain's coming in off the Great Lakes. So he's coming in off of Lake Erie, and he gets up onto the mound and toes the rubber. The rain is starting to pick up, but there's only one out left to go in the game. He needs to get one out, and they're done. And as he goes to pitch, a bolt of lightning right to the head, right to the dome.
Was Roy Hobbs at the plate at the time? Just curious.
Caldwell is knocked to the ground. He's on his back, arms spread wide. He is out cold. The lightning strike hit him directly. So the players ran over to him, as did a couple of fans from the area that were trying to help him out. One said that he was still full of electricity when they touched Ray Caldwell, who was laying on the ground, that he was actually zapped from the remaining electricity in his body. So everybody steps back because, hey, Ray Caldwell is dead. Obviously, he is dead. Well, he takes to the mound. He gets the lightning strike. And what does he do? He gets back up. Seconds after everybody thought he was going to be dead, he crawls to his knees. He gets up to his feet. He pats the fire off of his uniform. He looks at the players and says, I have one more out to get, and walks back to the hill. Eventually, Tish Speaker, his manager/player, walks back to center field and says, give him the danged ball. And turns him back towards the plate. Umpires Brick Owens and Billy Evans remain flanked around the mound for a minute, trying to figure out if the guy is serious or not. After another couple of seconds, Caldwell looks at them. They look at each other and shrug and scream, play ball. Caldwell grooves his first pitch. Ball is hit by the A's shortstop to third baseman Willie Gardner. Can't handle it cleanly. He knocks it into the ground in front of him. Snags, rushes the throw to first. Duncan is out, and the Cleveland fans celebrate because a dude who just got hit by lightning literally seconds ago has just recorded an out to win a game. I got to tell you, Lonzo, the conversation has been fun about, I love when the older sports fans start judging the younger sports players, the younger athletes. Well, back in my day, could you imagine? We wouldn't have done this. We wouldn't have done that. Could you imagine? They're so soft. The players are so SAWFT soft. It's unacceptable. Lonzo, I got to tell you, a pitcher who takes a bolt of lightning to the top of his freaking skull gets KO'd by Mother Nature herself, sent to the ground, then has to pat their jersey to put the fire out that is attached to it, and then finishes the game by recording an out on the very next batter to get a dub. Lonzo, that guy can call me soft all he wants, and I will never argue. Granted, he's dead, but if he could, I wouldn't argue with him.
Yeah, you know what? A couple of things stood out to me other than the lightning thing, which is an amazing thing. The fact that it's raining, there's lightning in the area, it's baseball, they continue to play. So at what point did rain delays come into baseball? Obviously, it wasn't happening in 1919. So when did baseball decide, you know what? I'm sure this guy finished the game. A few raindrops should not be stopping this baseball game. And now high school football games being delayed because of rain and a bunch of so when did that happen? When did the first rain delay happen?
I don't know. But I do know that Ray Caldwell is a dude. All right? Is a dude. My guy took a bolt of lightning to the dome and then was like, what? I'm good. He had pitched 8 2/3 innings to that point, decided he was not done, and finished it off. That is incredible. Incredible. Passed away in 1967. So there you go. That's the story I wanted. That's it. That's the story I wanted to share.
Wow. So dude had a pretty good life. I mean, a decently long life, even being struck by lightning and having a day to drink I wonder how much further his career went too.
If you get popped in the dome by lightning, and then you finish the game, I got to tell you, Father Time is undefeated. You know why Ray Caldwell died? Because he wanted to. He was done. He's like, I've seen it all. I'm out. Otherwise, Ray Caldwell would be sitting here today telling us this story. Because if that happened to him, you think time is going to beat Ray Caldwell? No. If we ever wanted to find out what was on the other side of a black hole, we could have just thrown Ray Caldwell in it because he'd have popped out the other end and told us. A Billy badass, man. Texas says, Chuck Norris has only given one man the right to drink by his side. That man is Ray blanking Caldwell. Another texter says, blanking legend. Yeah, literally, if you told me this story and I wasn't able to go verify it through I went and looked through 1919 newspaper articles to verify that this story was accurate and there were witnesses, because when I first came across it on ESPN, I'm like, somebody's tall tale got a little carried away. Like, my suspicions, though, lightning hit like the foul pole, and this guy had a reaction to it. No. Multiple credible sources at the game who then immediately said, no. The dude it took a bolt to the brain and then was like, 8 2/3, son, I got to finish. I'm going complete game here.
Have you ever been close to a lightning strike before?
It's terrifying.
It definitely is. We were broadcasting live on the station from it was a little league baseball game or so. I forget what it was. And lightning struck to the point where the hair stood up on my arm. It struck that close, and all our equipment went out. Then we got it back, and we continued doing the broadcast. But that's the closest I've ever been to a lightning strike. I cannot imagine being struck by lightning, then getting up and finishing the game.
Yeah. No.
Although I would say, out of the 4 of us on this radio station, you and I would probably finish the game. The show for men, they're done. Yeah, they're finished. Because men are smart enough to say, that's enough for me.
I got to tell you, ain't no one of us as badass as Ray Caldwell. Not a one of us.
I don't think I know anybody that is. Do you?
No, you don't.
I had a couple of uncles that were like laced with PCP and like fought cops and stuff, and they're not nearly as tough as this guy.
OH! Back after this on the Rob Brown Show. I have an NBA conspiracy theory I want to share with you as we head towards the season. Because it's been dwelling on me a little bit, and it's because it's got to do with my guy Zion as a Pelican, your guy Zion as an Upstater. But it's a conspiracy theory I'm very intrigued by, and I'll share it with you next on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate.
You see,
I'll do that. Our friends at QC Kinetics want you to be able to live your best life. And here's the reality of the situation. If you are afraid of pain, if you are afraid of going out and being physical and doing stuff that you want to do because
you are continuing reluctant to push this thing, even though I keep telling you to push this thing.
No, I don't think you understand how quickly I forget things.
Because
Push it right here.
Because we want some of our people there, and we need to push it to get our people there. Just saying, if you're listening right now on the stream, you obviously are our people. Or we're your people, however you want to look at it. The thing is, according to your promo, we are. So if that's wrong, then it needs to be fixed. I believe we've just witnessed Rob take a selfie.
No, it wasn't a selfie. I was taking a picture of the screen. Have you heard this story of the Alex Murdaugh? So I just learned about it this weekend. It's this guy from over in the other side of South Carolina, and they found.
Oh yeah.
Like
I know what you're talking about.
Wife and his two kids dead,
and then
like he got shot in the head. But now they're like,
it's grazing. It's a possibility. And
multiple sources familiar with the investigation into the Alex Murdaugh shooting have confirmed to a news outlet in Charleston that the knife used to puncture a run flat tire on his SUV has been recovered and linked to Alex Murdaugh. Like, this story is absolutely insane.
This report is sponsored by South Carolina Education Lottery. The Powerball jackpot for Wednesday is $388 million. Be sure to stop by your local South Carolina Education Lottery retailer and get your ticket today. See SCEducationlottery.com for jackpot odds and the story for you. You wanted the best. You got the best. You're listening to the Star Award-winning best sports talk show in South Carolina.
So I have a genuine NBA conspiracy theory for you. And that conspiracy theory is going to follow this. I didn't know how else to save that. I didn't know how to save it. Stoneman's Bad Bowler Club, which Lonzo and I
was going to say, I could have jumped in and just did it. I mean,
true.
it's,
I
you
should've just let
pointed, and I would have done that.
So our buddy Stoneman over on Classic Rock 101.1 has put together a Bad Bowlers League. And this Bad Bowlers League is going to be awesome.
It's not really a
Less
league.
a league,
It's
yeah.
just more of a club. It's more of a hangout. It's more of a chance to come out and just hang with us.
Yeah.
And bowl.
So
And
so what we've got going on is every Thursday. So next week is going to be our first meeting. Every Thursday, it's Spare Time Entertainment. Lonzo, me, Stoneman, and Diesel.
By the way, Spare Time, Congaree Road.
Yep.
You know
Awesome
where it
place,
is.
by the way.
Yes, it is.
We got to go tour it, last week before last, whatever it was?
Recently.
In the recent past. Phenomenal place, man. Super cool place. Every Thursday, Lonzo, me, Diesel, Stoneman, going to be bowling. You guys come in. And it's not just like we'll have some weeks where we're just bowling, right? We're just bowling. But we also talked about doing some more interesting stuff. For instance, one of the things we talked about was the fact that these lanes actually can track the speed of your bowling ball as it hits the pins. So we'll have competition about who can throw the ball the hardest. We may have the potential to set up some trick shots. We'll actually have trick shots. And so it won't just be like whoever can bowl 290 wins, because we're going to do different stuff every week to change up the game a little bit.
Yeah, so don't be intimidated. If all you can do...
It's literally the Bad Bowlers
If
Club.
all you can do...
Put me and Lonzo.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking about...
Can't wait. Dude, cannot wait. It's going to be great.
And if you're reluctant, you're on the fence, it's just you. The team, they will put you on a team, and you know what you're going to be? You're going to be bowling with like-minded people or just out there to have a good time. So you'll have a good time.
Go to classicrock1011.com, classicrock1011.com. Right there on their front page is Stoneman's Bad Bowlers Club. We want you to go there. You can actually get registered Thursdays at 7 p.m. Our meeting starts next Thursday.
And one last thing, and I don't enjoy interrupting Rob. Yeah, I do. We want. To you, for sure.
That elusive Lonzo hug may make its appearance.
After about 3 or 4 weeks, we're friends, and then I'm more comfortable.
Here's what I'll tell you. Our goal, selfishly, is to have more listeners of the Rob Brown Show and more listeners of the Upstate Pulse than Stoneman has.
Yes,
we want to make it Stoneman's Bad Bowler Club. But Stoneman's the backup dancer. You know what I mean? Like he's the Kevin Federline to our Britney Spears.
So if you got some buddies and you guys hang out all the time, you're looking for something to do, get your guys together or your girls together and just come over and hang out with us. It's 2 hours. 2 hours on a Thursday night. You're gonna have a blast.
Yeah, bring it. That's gonna be fun. We're gonna make Stoneman our Kevin Federline. In fact, next Thursday when we meet, I'm just gonna call him Kevin the whole time, but not tell him why, and make him go back and find this. So, next Thursday,
he'll forget about this, and Kevin.
Oh no, Kevin. He's going to be our backup dancer. He's going to be our Kevin Federline. So next Thursday, 7:00, spare time on Congaree Road. Y'all come on out, come hang out with us. For all of the smack talk you've heard us talking about, all that you get to come on with us now.
Speaking of smack talk, there's going to be an open mic for the 4 of us to talk smack to each other. And I would like to believe that could be entertaining.
To each other? To everybody in that bowling alley?
Well, there's that too. But we're really going to come at each other.
100%.
Especially Stoneman and Diesel.
100%. All right. 844-477-3776, 844-GSP-ESPN. Text us on the Ingles Market text line at 71307-71307 now. I got 5 minutes. I'll get you this. So, conspiracy theory time, because I have one. All right? I have one. You know the big thing I was mad about in the NBA stuff during this offseason, which is what? The big thing I've been upset about is the premise of Zion wants to be a Knick. Zion wants to be a Knick. Zion wants to be a Knick. He doesn't like playing in New Orleans. He wants to be a Knick. Zion wants to be a Knick. He wants to be a Knick. And it happens all the time. Anytime that a small market ends up with a generational player, every time that a small market ends up with a generational player, then you get people who start going and banging out that they don't want to be there. They want to be in New York. They want to be in New York. They want to be a Knick. They want to be a Knick. They want to be every time. It happened with Chris Paul. It happened with Anthony Davis. Now it's happening with Zion Williamson, and it's happened with Giannis. It's happened with D Book in Arizona before CP3 showed up and took him to the next level. It happens constantly. Well, this is kind of interesting. Somebody on the NBA subreddit a couple of days ago pointed out that they believe, and I believe them, there may be a little game behind the game here. Here is their game behind the game. And Alonzo, I want you to listen to this conspiracy theory and tell me if I need to go get Captain America Chris Evans down the hall's tinfoil hat and put it on. Okay? Creative Arts Agency is an agency that represents key media personalities at ESPN and also within the NBA. When you combine that nugget with the knowledge that creative arts agencies influence over the New York Knicks, what I mean by that, their GM, Leon Rose, CAA former agent. Coach Tim Thibodeau, CAA client. Zion Williamson is also, hang on to your butts, represented by CAA, right? So, you have CAA, who represent Zion. They represent the GM of the New York Knicks. They represent the head coach of the New York Knicks. They represent at least 2, maybe more players on the New York Knicks, but also they represent a large portion of the talent at ESPN. So CAA is effectively the representative for the Knicks, Zion, and ESPN. And it is ESPN predominantly that is pushing Zion to the Knicks, right? It's Stephen A. Smith that comes on every day. I know Zion personally, and he wants to be a Knick. And I don't know that Stephen A. said that. It was just a good way to do a bad Stephen A. Smith impersonation.
That's actually one of your better impersonations.
Thanks. So the CAA is ESPN. ESPN is the CAA. The CAA is the Knicks. The Knicks are CAA, meaning that the Knicks are ESPN. And it's been ESPN who's been pushing Zion to be a Knick this entire time. This has all the subtlety of a fart in church. It's just glaringly obvious here. So, you got CAA who represents the Knicks and ESPN and Zion. You got ESPN pushing Zion to the Knicks. You got the Knicks and ESPN effectively being represented by the same group, so their interests are aligned here. And you got Zion at kind of being kind of the crux of this whole conversation. Lonzo, I don't see that as a conspiracy theory. I see that as pretty damning, ultimately. Now, is it because I'm a Pelicans fan and I'm nervous about losing Zion with the knowledge that if Zion leaves New Orleans, I might as well stop being an NBA fan because the reality is the Pelicans will never, ever, ever have an actual chance at holding on to a superstar and being good because they're just going to get robbed every time they're ready to take the next step? Or is there potentially some credibility to this?
I think there's a lot of credibility to it. That's wild that many people actually work for. And like these guys don't have contact with each other, they absolutely would being represented. And that's wild. That is what. So now what's going to happen now that you put this out there? Anytime we hear someone from ESPN saying Zion should go to the Knicks, then we're going to feel like there's some inside stuff going on and some influencing going on, and it's not good. Definitely not good.
So here's one of the issues I have. Here is the issue that I have here. This is in some ways by design, right? That is to say, there are folks who work for some of these networks, and ESPN happens to be the target of this because it's my guy and I care. There are folks who have been reporting on ESPN, Zion to the Knicks, Zion to the Knicks, Zion to the Knicks, who work for CAA or are represented by CAA. CAA would benefit, therefore they would benefit if Zion went to the Knicks. Those are people that have some level of self-interest in that story taking off, right? That is by design. That is by design. Basically, the way it feels to me now is that we have NBA reporters who are less reporters and more press machines for the NBA. And I got news for you. That, because that system is working, because it's very hard to see through, that system is going to grow into other sports. It really already has in other sports.
I hate to say this, but it sounds like from a certain point of view, this is echoing today's political environment.
To some degree. To some degree. There is a vested interest in different outlets to control the message of different players and different teams to organize them the way they want so that more money comes into them. CAA and ESPN at the base of this particular one. Right? At least that's the way it looks to me. But this is not only a situation that impacts the NBA. This will happen in the NFL. This will happen in Major League Baseball. It already has started. But I think this is the first time, Lonzo, that I can point at something. This is the first time that I can point at something and go, This actually makes sense. This actually makes sense. Now, somebody argued and said, I'm sure that this is part of it, but isn't it easier to just say that New York has almost 7 million TV homes versus New Orleans that has 615,000, and a bigger market means more jersey sales, more ticket sales, more social media interaction, etc.? And the answer is, yeah, there's some truth to that. As long as there is no salary cap in the league, and even when there is, the big markets in the NBA are going to have considerably more resources to use to attract players than the small ones. But the point is, they don't need the help. They don't need the ties between players, journalists, media teams, and agencies to be way deeper than we as the average fan realize, because it does impact the league. And this is one of those points, because as we pointed out, what the Milwaukee Bucks did this year as a small market team with Giannis happened for two reasons. Number one, they caught the diamond in the rough young player who is happy to stay in a small market because it's not all about the interaction and the money for him. But he is the exception to the exception to the exception to the rule. Okay? Second off, they did it because that's it. That's why we celebrate. That's why the Bucks doing it as a small market team is so incredible. But if any player decides that he not only wants championships, but wants all the money that comes with it, you'll never see it happen again. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say we'll never see another small market team win an NBA championship after the Bucks did it this year. I am telling you that's a lottery win, right? It's a lottery win. It was great. It was fun. It was cool. As a small market fan, I was inspired for a minute, but then I started reading through this stuff and I'm like, maybe not. Maybe not. When you have the media personalities that help steer fan views towards the league, right? Because it's not just about the way they're reporting on. It's not just Woj dropping Woj bombs. But it's how these guys go it on ESPN and Fox and all these other outlets, and they shape fan perspective of the league. Stephen A. Smith gets on and starts yelling about where he wants who to go to, and fans listen to that. Shouldn't, but do. And they start having their thoughts on the NBA shaped by that. Well, now, these guys who clearly favor some agencies and some teams over others, they are now a resource for those big market teams. And it's I don't know, man. I don't know if this is forced from me, because as a small market fan with a generational talent of a player on it, I know that the window for us to win a championship to prove that it's worth him staying there is incredibly small, or if it's legit. But I want to point something out as we run to break here on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate. And that thing that I want to point out, and I waited for Lonzo to push that button, is Lonzo never played the conspiracy music under this segment. No, it's because it's not a conspiracy. It's because what I said is a damn good point. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate.
It really didn't sound like a conspiracy
I
to
know.
me.
I started that off with a premise of an excuse to play the conspiracy music. The more I started reading into it, the more I started getting names picked out. I'm like, this is not a conspiracy. This is actually a valid thought. I've learned that it's time to look out the windows when I get the notification from Facebook that says Chris Justice is live.
Chris Justice is a good dude, and you've got to see him in person,
I know.
too.
I didn't get a chance to meet him. I wish I would have.
Look that bad here. Maybe stuff.
Yeah, stays away from us.
Although it may be heading kind of this way. We'll find out when the next alert happens. Depending on what county.
Right.
Game day is upon us. When hopeful throngs of couch-bound agony and ecstasy of football fandom. When the palate-pleasing pleasure of wings, burgers, and bratwurst is eclipsed only by the sweet taste of victory. So find your lucky seat on the sofa, and remember, you make a better door than a window. Ingles, your official sponsor of food and football.
There's never been a better time to switch to Spectrum Mobile.
Oh, looks like I broke it.
Plus, there are no added taxes, hidden fees, or no contracts. Try the Spectrum Mobile savings calculator today, and in 3 easy steps, you'll see how much you can save by switching. Visit spectrummobile.com/save. Spectrum Internet required. Savings may vary. Restrictions apply. Visit spectrummobile.com/save for details.
Staying healthy isn't easy. Watching your diet.
You have a Prisma in the last break. So there's something trending, but I'm not going to use it because it's spoilery about a movie that's going to be coming out.
Matrix.
A director has said that a character is going to die in a movie that's coming up. And now everyone is speculating. And if I tell you even one name, you will know the movie that I'm talking about. And I know how you try to stay away from spoilers. Just because someone dies in a movie doesn't mean they don't come back in the movie, too, depending on
True.
what kind of movie it is.
Movie that's soon to be coming out?
It's coming out in the near future. I can give you one name.
MCU.
Yes.
Not Spider-Man. That would have been in the news a ways back. I mean, not from the Spider-Man
The
movie.
director's
not
pretty
Spider-Man.
famous. Or infamous, I guess.
Thor, Love and Thunder? Guardians.
You're on the right track.
Guardians, then.
So all the characters are trending right now.
Okay, so it's not one particular character that's trending.
No,
It's
no,
like
no.
Guardians.
He didn't say which one.
Okay.
He just said one of the.
One of them. Did he say one of them or just someone?
I'd have to find a direct quote, but I believe
Well, now
he
I
said one of
obviously have
them.
to.
And you can tell by the name getting the most tweets about who people think is going to die.
Pratt.
No, that's who they want to die.
Ah,
But no, and he's not even close to being the one that people believe.
the one I believe, just based on the fact that I'm seeing him pop up everywhere else, has got to be Drax. Got to be Batista.
That's what everyone believes, that Drax is going to die. My money's on Manta.
Is on who?
I said Manta, I meant Mantis.
Yeah, no.
Because Manta is a totally different thing.
So Lonzo hates the transfer portal. I'm curious as to how he's going to feel about this story that he didn't know I was going to spring on him just now. But I want his gut reaction because that's what we do here on the show. We have gut reactions and then we pay for them later.
It's a trap.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is, Lonzo. Yes, it is.
You know how I know? Because the look on his face. That's how I know.
I like to have a good time. All right, here we go, Zoe. Strap in. This one's for you, buddy. Rutgers had a defensive back by the name of Peyton Powell. Peyton Powell was supposed to be one of the better players that has come through this program in a while. Former 4-star recruit. Starred at Permian High School, which was the school, if you watched it, that was profiled in Friday Night Lights. So they take their football serious down at Permian High. And he played at the actual real one. He has decided, Lonzo, to leave the program and transfer without playing a single down for the Scarlet Knights. Powell had already transferred once. Powell transferred to Rutgers after beginning his college career at Baylor. He followed his position coach named Fran Brown from Waco to Piscataway, where he ended up at Baylor. He announced his plans to enter the NCAA transfer portal last week. He decided to enter the portal, Lonzo. Stop me when you're ready to jump in to tell me how you feel about this story.
It doesn't matter. You're going to say that he's transferring to Ohio State. And
Nope. Absolutely not.
Oh.
He's just in the portal right now. He isn't transferred anywhere. What I'm interested in is to see if you are cool with the two transfers
No, I'm not.
based on his reasoning. And his reasoning is this. Rutgers, Rutgers, along with 9 other Big Ten schools, including Illinois, Indiana, Maryland, Michigan, Michigan State, Minnesota, Northwestern, Ohio State, and Purdue, are requiring COVID-19 vaccines for all students returning to campus, and he does not want to take the vaccine. So instead of taking the vaccine, he has decided to transfer for the second time in his career without playing a single down for Rutgers.
Let me say again, whether I agree or disagree with his stance, I do not like the transfer portal for any reason. I don't, because the transfer portal is just free agency for college football, which is another step towards it being professional football, which NIL went ahead and took that next step. And college football is professional football. So if I want,
which we will anyway this Sunday at Wings Etc. in Boiling Springs. To throw a live plug in there.
where
Why would you tell me don't look at the TV screen when you know good and damn well that's going to make me look directly at the TV screen?
that bull was having relations with a
he was.
motorbike.
Okay. So, you know what? I respect your commitment.
Whether they go to my school, whether their stance is for religious reasons, whatever reason that they're moving from school to school, I do not like the transfer portal. I don't.
So this kid who play, and I find this interesting because, and I don't mean to.
But he doesn't have transfer portal. You don't have to reason. You just get up and go.
Absolutely. He could have done this for whatever reason that he wanted to. He tweeted out a couple of days ago, the University of Rutgers has made the COVID vaccine mandatory to attend school and play football. Therefore, I have no other choice but to enter my name into the transfer portal. He has obviously been met with a mix of supporters and those who are upset with him. I would also like to go ahead and say, please do not tweet college football players for any reason. You are all adults. Stop. Unless you were in college, unless you know them, don't tweet college football players. Don't tweet at recruits. Don't tweet at players. Unless you were saying, great job last Saturday, then don't tweet at them, okay? It's weird. You're an adult. Leave they're kids. Leave them alone, all right? Public service announcement from your friend Rob Brown and The Rob Brown Show.
I'm sure that took care of it. Way to go.
Anyway, just, I find it interesting that there has been a bit of a debate here because a lot of folks have been very not thrilled about the transfer portal, but then they saw his reason and now they've come around on it. It's interesting. Quick break. Back after this trending topics. Call it a day on the Rob Brown Show at ESPN Upstate.
That's my.
Prisma Health right here in the Upstate. Listen, your healthcare is your priority, right? It's the most important thing you got going for you. Well, that means you want to work with a doctor, with a healthcare provider that makes your health their priority too. That's kind of the point, right? You want to work with a doctor who cares as much about your health as you care about your health. And that's why you got to call our friends at Prisma Health right here in the Upstate. Prisma Health has over 2,400 doctors within their network. So you can find a doctor that you like, a doctor that you trust, a doctor that you want to work with. And with locations all around the Upstate and the Midlands, you can find a location that is convenient to you. But they don't stop there to make taking care of your health their priority. You can go to their website at prismahealth.org, and you can set up for a virtual appointment. Any point, anytime you need to see a doctor, but you're just stuck. You can't get out. Maybe you're immunocompromised. You can't leave the house, right? You can set up a virtual visit with your doctor and sit in front of a webcam and never have to leave your house and get diagnosed and talk with your doctor about your healthcare. Or you can use our MyChart feature to make sure that your doctor and you have all the latest and most recent information about your healthcare right there available in front of you. Go to prismahealth.org to learn more. Prismahealth.org. It's our friends at Prisma Health right here in the upstate.
It's the NFL on Sports USA as the Green Bay Packers head south to take on the New Orleans Saints. The Saints are now led by Jameis and Taysom, but still have Kamara busting through the D. They're in the back are back with Adams, Jones, and MVS. It's the Green Bay Packers and New Orleans Saints.
Sunday afternoon at 4. The NFL plays here on ESPN Upstate.
It's nothing worse than coming home from a hot day to find out that your AC unit isn't working. What's happening? You need an HVAC company you can trust. A company like Priority Heating and Air. Their HVAC specialists will give your system a thorough checkup. And if you need a new unit, Priority Heating and Air is a proud distributor of the Coleman line of HVAC systems. So keep your family or business cool this summer and get Priority Heating and Air a call today. 591-1847 or find them online at PriorityHeatingAndAirHVAC.com.
So the couple of times I've walked in the office today, it's thrown me off out of the corner of my left eye because there's something on that wall. And there's never been anything on the wall. I'm like, what is that? And I turn around. Oh, okay. I've had many what I call guests in that office. And none of them put anything on the wall.
Past guest status. We don't know.
We don't know.
I'll let you know in March.
Having some starting trouble? We can help you out. Let's start with a free battery test. If you just need a charge, we can help with that too. And if you need a new battery, we've got a wide selection of replacement batteries, starting at just $79.99. And we're the only place you can find proven tough Duralast batteries.
So I need to finish moving stuff into that home office. And if I don't do it tonight or tomorrow night,
You're done for the weekend.
yeah. And then, next week starts bowling. So it's going to be, that's another night gone. I'm going to have to take a couple of days off eventually. That's probably the only way I'm going to
Just
finish
to do
it.
that.
I have a floating week that I haven't requested off yet. So T2 has said that he's available to learn to do this program. He's not really a sports guy, though. I try to make sure that we have someone on here that at least knows sports.
Right. I mean, at the end of the day, you got to have somebody to do it.
Oh, I'm going to not take my time off,
Right,
but
right,
I'm
right.
trying to take care of you also. But,
Dude, look.
just because you're not into something doesn't mean you can't have an opinion on it.
Just make diesel pull 7 hours.
I am not that guy. People may think I'm that guy, but I am not that guy. I would not do that unless it was an absolute emergency. I can't wait to get off the air because someone has replaced Pee Wee Herman's voice over Kylo Ren, and I just want to go to the office and watch it. I think Nerdist did it, and I even wrote it down to remind because I just got to see this.
I know what I have to do.
All right, time for Twitter trending topic.
At our late 80s and 90s kids, Blue's Clues was a show on Nickelodeon way back in the day with a guy named Steve. And Steve and his cartoon dog, Blue, you would solve a mystery. Blue would leave clues around the house, and you would find the clues, and you would do detective work with Steve. And Steve would draw the clues down in his notebook, and then at the end, you would solve the mystery of what Blue wanted to do with you that day. It was one of the, it was like Sesame Street, but new age stuff. Anyway, last night, so after a couple of years of hosting Blue's Clues, Steve one day, quite literally, just left the show. Steve said, "Hey, this is my brother. I think his name was Joe. This is Joe. Joe's your best friend. He's going to hang out with you and Blue now. I got to go. Bye-bye." And he just left the show. Well, last night in the middle of the night, Steve showed back up. And he dumped a video on the internet where he talked to those of us that were 90s kids in the early 90s that watched the very first iterations of Blue's Clues. And he explained where he left. And he said, look, I wanted to go to college and learn and get better. And he just had this really kind of heartfelt video for all the kids, usually a little bit younger than me. And they're all in their late 20s to very early 30s now. But we knew the show where he kind of had a Mr. Rogers-esque message. About wishing us the best and saying sorry for leaving, but I had to do. And I've thought about it. Was just, if you are an emotional, sentimental person, Lonzo, and you saw that video and you grew up around the time that Steve hosted Blue's Clues, it meant something to you.
Yeah, I haven't watched the thing, but it's trending big time. It's all over the place. People are sharing it, so I can't wait to listen to it. All right, the next thing is trending is Bradley Roby.
Bradley Roby, of course, formerly of the Houston Texans, now a New Orleans Saint. They traded him earlier in the day, which, of course, the Saints desperately needed some help in the defensive backfield. So Bradley Roby is going to be the solution. He is suspended for week 1, so he will not be available to play against Green Bay on Sunday, but he will be likely, I'm assuming, the starter in week 2 for New Orleans. Speaking of the Texans, Nick Caserio said that they are going to constantly be recalibrating as they go regarding the Deshaun Watson situation. A lot of smoke about the Miami Dolphins wanting him again, but no fire in the last 2 weeks. We'll talk about that tomorrow. For Lonzo, I'm Rob. Mark Ryan and Diesel are up next on Offsides. Have a great rest of your day. Don't drink and drive. I'll punch you in the face. Remember, this Sunday, live at Wings Etc. in Boiling Springs for the Carolina Kickoff Show powered by Scatel's. Put it on the books. See you there. The Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate. Later, brother.
ESPN Upstate, WYRD Greenville, WORD Spartanburg, WFBC FM HD3.